This is Hidden Killers Live with Tony Bruschi, Stacey Cole, and Todd Michaels.
We are now coming back from the lunch break, and we're going to take you back into the courtroom to see exactly what is going on as we're getting ready for the closing arguments from the side and the defense of Donna Adelson. Let's take a look.
Just based on, as I said, the way that the state has misrepresented items in the calendar, we would like to be able to present that as argument to the jury.
Again, at this stage, for items that are not in evidence, I do not find that these are specifically exculpatory. You can make any reasonable argument or inference as it relates to the admitted evidence, but items that were never admitted at this point are not to be presented to the jury.
Yes, sir.
Appears they're making an argument of not being satisfied really with how, and it's not for them to be satisfied with how the closing arguments of the prosecution go. But it appears they are trying to argue, at least verbally on the record, that they want to present something. The judge is saying, no, we're not going to do that. I don't agree with it. What they're trying to do essentially is set up more appellate issues because they're going to probably go on ineffective assistance of counsel. They're going to go on anything they can. So if they feel they can make an argument and be turned down on it or accepted on it, they're going to argue.
Presentation as a state, while Ms. Fulford is giving the closing, I will be assisting by putting the items on display.
That's fine.
Oh my God, they're going to do items on display. I wonder if there's going to be another cork board.
This is great. So this is the Tom Petty's got the post-it notes, the puppet show, the clipboard. Wouldn't it be great if she brought out like a marionette of Donna, with just how much that has been kind of the reference point or the thing in our minds of how Donna controls people. It would just show the utter cluelessness of them to bring Donna out as a marionette, pulling strings of Donna and Charlie. Anything is possible. Like, you can tell this judge is just kind of like over it.
Yep. And, the defense has to do something because they basically just sat there and left all this evidence come out and not have any arguments for any of it.
No, I mean, and I don't know what they had planned. Obviously, going into this trial, they said Donna's going to testify. And then at the very last minute, guess who changes her mind?
Do you think Donna. She changed her mind, or do you think they changed her mind? What's your thoughts on that?
That's a good question.
I think they had a little something to do with that, to be honest with you.
Well, that's what you'd want. I mean, your attorney should be the one that are saying this is a good idea, this is a bad idea. The fact that they made this statement at the beginning is what is crazy to me. And then at the very end here, they decide, oh, she's not going to testify. Maybe. I think if they were doing their job, they would have encouraged her not to testify, but that's got to be a hard one to make Donna stand down from what she wants to do. This is just amusing watching those two try and get ready over there with their piles of paper as if this is 1987 in a courtroom. The judge is almost like rolling his eyes.
Yes, I saw that too. Yes.
Jury's coming back into the room right now. I want to have Cappleman on the show once this is all done. I'd love to have a conversation.
Members of the jury, I hope you enjoyed your lunch break. At this time, we are going to continue with the defense's closing.
Got to grab her water jug.
Big jug of water. It's like a super gulp.
It's like a canteen.
You think it's water in there?
Good afternoon.
So you're going to move the podium in?
You've heard a lot.
Here we go. Podium moving.
You'll stay awake so you can hear me too, okay? So it's been, 2.5 weeks, I guess, since you started this venture with us. And you've heard an awful lot. And I'd like to take you back to my opening statement. In my opening statement, there were some things referred to today that I'd like to address. The first one is that I stood up in my opening statement and said all of these wonderful things about Dan Markel, and then I called witnesses to attack him. That is not true. That is not true. In fact, the defense is the only part of this case that actually elicited evidence through testimony about the good qualities of Dan Markel. We elicited that on cross from his ex-wife, Wendy. And all of the things I told you in opening about what a wonderful man he was, a wonderful father, well-educated, successful, we elicited that testimony. And criticized today for having two witnesses who came and testified on the stand about the dissolution case and things that had been filed in it. That was not to attack Danny Markel. We didn't put that evidence on. The state is the one that made it an issue. They put those documents into evidence, the things that Mr. Markel had filed. So we're the defense and we represent Donna Adelson, and we're just supposed to say, okay, well, they put it in, let's just let it sit there. We have an obligation to represent our client. And what happened in that divorce, whether it was contentious or not, was an issue the state brought up. They've been calling this a bitter custody battle for years. And they started this case by saying the same thing. So to have the people who were actually involved in the case point out that there never was a bitter custody battle is important, because there never was one. There was never a time when they were fighting over somebody having access to the children. In those pleadings, nobody says, you can't have them, I've got them. You can't have them, I've got them. When they filed their initial pleadings, they did what everybody, according to the lawyer who was on the case for Mrs. Adelson, meaning Wendy, on the case for Wendy, they all filed their typical pleadings. And in the beginning, you ask for certain stuff, and she asked for 5149, maybe for a tax purpose. But there was never one single time, and you can't be convinced that relocation was the issue where they were going to take Danny Markel's kids away from them. If you believe that, you are ignoring the evidence that the state of Florida put on against Donna Adelson. And when I told you in opening that this was all about theory and belief of what a motive was, and there was no evidence that a crime was committed by my client, Donna Adelson, that is exactly what has happened in this courtroom. The state is ignoring the evidence that came in through their witnesses that support our defense, and instead they stand before you with calls and text messages, and they tell you what they mean. That's not evidence.
Jesus.
Their argument about what a conversation means is not evidence. You decide what it means. You've got it in front of you, and you have to consider it in the context of all of the evidence that's presented, not just what the state puts in, but what the defense puts in. And I know at some point when we were putting on evidence, you all were looking probably at me like, what are you doing? Who cares?
Yeah, we were.
Some of those
Pretty
little
much
things
the whole
matter,
time.
and I'm going to cover those in the defense, and you'll see why we put those things in that didn't seem like that I had a hoot to do with anything, because they actually did.
Jesus. This is like, she's having like a narcissistic
I think the
meltdown.
state, near the beginning of the
You know she's
case,
been
and I don't
defeated.
recall who the witness was, but near the beginning of the case, the state, through a law enforcement officer, elicited testimony about how this event transpired, this brutal killing of Danny Markel, how it transpired, and how they were able to break the case. And what did they tell you? They told you they broke the case because Luis Rivera, who was one of the killers, decided he would cooperate with the state of Florida in exchange for a deal, which for his crime, he ended up, the testimony was he got 7 more years for committing that crime. This is the man who got in the car, got the gun off the street, drove up to Tallahassee, Florida, stalked, is the best way I can describe it, Danny Markel in a car with his children from his home, watched him take his little boys out of his car and put them into the daycare center, followed him again to where he went to work out at Premier Gym, and sat in wait for him. Sat in wait for him. And then when Mr. Markel came out, trying to work some things out with his ex-wife, Wendy, about having the kids and who's picking them up at what time, even leaves her a really nice voicemail that they could get together and walk at the school to talk about the education of their older child, where he was going to be going to school because he was going to be starting kindergarten. And Wendy pushed back. She pushed back. This was his time with his little boys, and she's telling him no. I've got plans. Well, it wasn't her time to do that. So leading up to his death, she's arguing with him over about an hour and a half worth of time that she thinks she's entitled to with the kids, but it's his time. And I agree with the state of Florida. The most important thing to that man was those little boys. And he fought for every minute he could get, and rightfully so. Then he drives home in his car while he's on the phone, and Luis Rivera, driving the car that's been stalking him all day, pulls up behind him in his driveway. Sigfredo Garcia gets out and shoots him twice in the head, and they pull off at a pretty high rate of speed and leave Danny Markel dying inside his garage. Left him to die. Those are the people that killed Danny Markel. Those two people. And the state has all kinds of arguments about how Mrs. Adelson's involved because she said these things about him, and we'll get to that in a second. But if Luis Rivera is telling the truth, what did he tell you when he got on the stand? What did he tell you? He said, and this is
here we go.
Signature on this document dated March 11th, 2025, when he was deposed, and those numbers and circles are his. And he testified to you.
Oh my God.
God.
No. Oh, for those
Catherine
who are
Medbanowa.
watching, you're missing out.
Catherine Medbanowa is the person that elicited Sigfredo Garcia to kill Danny Markel. Now, her versions change over time, so we'll have to address a few of those.
What is this even?
Can you pause for a
She didn't
second,
even
Todd?
know Luis Rivera was involved.
So yeah.
Is this like an artist rendering and somebody decided to put their stamp on it? Like, I did this. If you can't see this, there was actually somebody who signed it and dated it.
I think it's an overhead projector.
It
Or-
is. It absolutely is.
Yeah,
It is.
it's an overhead projector. They're using an overhead because there's like a marker, like she numbered like the people 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
okay.
7, 8, 9, 10, but it doesn't really make any sense. It's just numbers next to heads, and there really is no sensible way of following this thing. And then somebody's signature is on the side, like this is their piece of artwork from 4th grade.
That's what I was wondering.
And yeah, it's literally going up on an overhead projector. So it's a step up from the big old poster board from Walgreens. But oh my, are they drunk? I mean, is she? What is going on with this defense that they're putting these things together and going, we're going to present this to the jury. This is going to be a slam dunk. I mean, this is almost like you're trying to get her
Right?
Like if you want to get her found guilty, here's how you do it.
Wow. Yeah.
They would have been better just shutting up at this point. But and I find it interesting at the beginning, that whole 10-minute thing had nothing to do. It was her own rage. It was her because she felt that she was being called out on something. It had nothing to do with much of this case. It was her feeling that she was wrong. So move on. Argue for your client. That was like your own professional bullshit that you're calling out in front of a jury. This is insane. Let's continue.
This is a woman who the state has admitted lied first time, second time, third time, fourth time, maybe the fifth time. Every time she puts herself under oath and swears to tell the truth, she's going to say more. She told you she didn't even know Luis Rivera was involved, but the phone records that were put in by the state of Florida prove otherwise. Because during the time that they're traveling to Tallahassee, when she can't reach Sigfredo Garcia, whose phone is she calling? She's calling Luis Rivera. This woman can't tell the truth. But in any event, Luis Rivera then puts this number 2 next to Sigfredo Garcia because he's the one who actually killed Danny Markel.
Donna's just like,
Number 3 next to himself
She's-
because
yes,
she's the one
exactly.
who got the gun
Oh, shit,
and
this is
drove the
going
car.
bad.
They should have
to
bought a
kill
better
Danny
attorney.
Markel and then away from the scene. This is the man that he says they killed. Who else on this document do you recognize? On this exhibit? Who else?
Here's
Who else
Waldo.
was involved in this? Well,
When you use an
all the
overhead
players
projector, you
that
don't
the
go
state
up to the
claims
screen.
are involved are pictured on this document, and he says Wendy Adelson, she's the lady who wanted to get her kids back. This is why we were committing the crime.
Wow.
Wendy Adelson. And doctor, the dentist, he called him, which is Charlie Adelson, who he identified, was the one with Katie. This one and this one are the reasons that they're coming to Tallahassee to kill Dan Markel. And I said, well, what about Donna Adelson or Harvey Adelson? No, they weren't involved. I said, would you put an X next to them if they weren't involved? And he did. Donna Adelson's name never came up, but Luis Rivera is telling the truth, according to the state. That's who you're supposed to believe. And he says my client is not involved. There's some issues that I might address further, but I want to go through some of the things that the state stood up and told you. Relocation, relocation, relocation. That's the issue. That is the reason that my client had Danny Markel killed, because relocation was lost. Danny Markel was killed July the 18th of 2014. Relocation was done for over a year. That's the motive? It's been over for a year. And they said yesterday in court that the relocation issue didn't stop when Danny Markel was, when the divorce was over. It continued going on. The emails showed that. There is not a single email that's been put in by the state that shows that my client, Donna Adelson, was continuing on a rampage about relocation. The last email that they showed you today that my client wrote about relocation was July the 19th of 2013. The divorce was final on the 31st, said and done.
It was about killing him at that point. It wasn't about relocation. They knew they lost that.
And she said it was done.
She's
now,
trying.
have Charlie Adelson and Wendy Adelson been honest with their mother? The evidence says no, they haven't been. Because the whole time Wendy Adelson is telling her mother, she's telling her mother that relocation is what she wants. She's the one who starts that. She's the one who asks her lawyer about it. The whole time in the spring leading up to this hearing, Wendy Adelson admitted in her testimony she's sending these messages to her life coach and telling her life coach, you know, I think I want to stay in Tallahassee. But she didn't bother to tell her mother that. Her mother still thinks she's trying to get relocation. She does it in April. And then she writes to her again in May. I think I'm going to give up relocation. I can stay in Tallahassee. The kids will be close to their boys. There won't be any plane rides. And I like my job. It gives me all this flexibility. I'm going to stay. But she still doesn't tell her mother. She has her mother believing we got to fight for this relocation. She testified. Well, why did your mother get so upset? Well, she's venting to her mother about what she claims Danny Markel is doing. And she's venting to her mother about what she wants to accomplish, only she's not being honest with her. On the backside, she's making other plans. It'd have been nice for my client, Donna Adelson, to know that, because these emails that have been submitted here, which are proof that she wanted to have Danny Markel killed, would not have been written. And when she goes to her hearing on the relocation in June of 2013, she has her mother stay outside. Her mother can't hear what's going on in the hearing.
She admitted
she had several witnesses to call beyond the two that got on the stand. And then after the judge made the comment, she gave up. She could have continued with the hearing and put her witnesses on. The judge could have ruled against her, and then maybe she has an appellate issue. She gave up because she didn't want it anymore, but she didn't tell her mother that. When she told her mother, well, this is how the judges ruled, the mother understood that through the court system it was done, but not with her daughter, Wendy. Because you can continue to negotiate all the way through a final judgment. And that's what those emails say. They do suggest some crazy stuff. They do. But she puts in there, we're trying to negotiate. We're trying to negotiate. Get this, you can still work on this. She doesn't know when she's writing those crazy emails that there's no reason to write them because her daughter agreed. You know, you can have a dismissal on an issue, You can have a denial on an issue. She agreed to it with prejudice, which means it is over. She already made an agreement. She's not going to seek relocation anymore. So my client is hanging out there trying to support her daughter, and now she's sitting in a court of law charged with murder because of what she wrote in emails. Because the truth is, you are here to judge my client based on her conduct leading up to and to the time of death of Danny Markel. That's her conduct. Can you consider things she said and did after to see if it corroborates that she was involved? You can. But her conduct leading up to the day that Danny was murdered is in this book that the state has entered with emails. It's separated between where you can see it, where they lead up to the divorce and then after the divorce until the time of the homicide. Now, my client did say ugly things about Danny Markel. During the divorce, she did. And the state has put them in. This is State's Exhibit 64.
Oh, here comes the poster board, guys. Brace yourself, right? Oh,
And
sorry.
they have emails going up through July the 11th of 2014. These are the bad names that my client called Danny Markel.
Look at Georgia.
During the course of a divorce where her daughter is constantly venting to her about what she says Danny is doing, she said some really bad names, and I'm going to say them.
Oh my
although
God.
you shouldn't say bad words in court.
Why
She
are
called
we
him some
doing
ugly
that?
stuff. The first one that they wanted to put in was from 2011.
What is she doing?
Right,
this
why
for a
would
He
second.
was
you
killed
do
in
this?
2014. They introduced
stop it
this,
for a
this
second.
email from
Why
March
would
the
you
28th
do
of
this?
2000.
I wanted to. Can you back it up to that second? I want to see
Oh
that.
my God.
What
Let me
is
see-
this?
let me see if it
And
comes back up.
inside
Okay.
that email, they claim shows the item.
Okay.
Although you
So
Elvis.
I don't get what the fuck she's doing here.
No.
She literally has brought up. She did this like on Paint or something. Names Donna called Markel. I don't know what she wrote this in, but it's like, it's not the correct type of program to do it in. Anyway, names Donna called Mr. Markel. This is what the jury is saying. 1, royal couple, Mr. Markel's parents. 2, major fucker. 3, gibbers. 4, religious zealot. 5, royal jackass. 6, piece of shit. 7, fucker. 8, crazy. 9, bastard. 10, Elvis. It's a top 10 list of the names Donna has called Dan Markel that she's presenting in closing arguments, trying to defend her client and
is
show
the-
that she had nothing to do with this.
This almost aligns her with
It
having
does.
done something. Whose side is she on?
And her argument thus far is basically Wendy was living her own adult life and was sick of Donna trying to insert herself everywhere. So her argument is, well, she just told her mother this. If she just told her mother that, she didn't have to tell her mother shit. She's an adult. And
Yep.
in her relationship with her ex-husband and her children have nothing to do with her mother. But here Tom Petty is arguing that, oh my gosh, the mother needs to be the integral key player in all of this. And because Wendy didn't give her that opportunity to step in and say everything that she wanted to do, and because Wendy didn't do what she wanted to do, well, now she's being tried for murder because she started saying these horrible things and making these horrible statements, and now it looks like she murdered somebody because he's dead, and she was talking like, of course it does.
Up from number 6 last week is Royal Jackass at number 5.
And number 1 coming in at number 1
She's gonna have a long distance dedication real fast.
on American Top 40.
From the grave, Danny
Major
Markel.
fucker. Let's continue.
Wow.
I'm literally eating popcorn while I'm watching this.
shouldn't say bad words in court. She called him some ugly stuff. The first one that they wanted to put in was from 2011. He was killed in 2014. They introduced this email from March the 28th of 2011 at 64A. And inside that email, they claim shows the hatred for Danny Markel. And you want to know why? According to their exhibit list here, because Mrs. Adelson referred to Danny's parents as, quote, the royal couple. and she and Wendy were bantering back and forth about some issues with Mr. Markel's parents. That's not hatred on Danny. It's not even hatred on his parents. We're sitting here with murder charges because she did something like that, called somebody a royal couple. She said other bad things. She called Danny a major fucker, Jivers, which Wendy Adelson testified that she came up with that nickname for him.
Cute.
A religious zealot, and Wendy testified that the issues in their marriage included matters of he had now become more strict in their religion than she wanted to follow. That was one of their problems. She called him a royal jackass, a piece of shit, a fucker, crazy, a bastard, and she called him Elvis. That's why we are sitting here today.
No, it's not more than that, Jackie.
For somebody.
Sorry, you weren't paying
That
attention.
proves they wanted to have him killed. Are you serious? You call somebody some bad names and that means you wanted them dead? My client has lack of any ability to stop herself from saying things. She can't do it. And I'm not trying to be offensive to her, but she can't. And all of these emails that they have introduced prove it. She is not a one-word person. She goes on and on and on and on.
On and on.
And they believe that she had Danny Markel murdered because she said some bad words. There's not a lick of evidence in here that they submitted of what she did prior to July the 18th, 2014, where she said not a single word, that she wanted him killed. She was planning to have him killed. She was going to find somebody to kill him. She was going to pay somebody to kill him. She was going to kill him. That she was glad he was dead. That's not in here. And this is it. This is it. Before he was killed. You're judging her conduct before he died, up to his death. And that's all you've got. And I told you that in the opening statement. They have a lot of theories, and they like to spin evidence a certain way to make her look bad because she said ugly things. That is not proof of somebody having somebody killed. And that's it.
Is that all you got? We got more? Is that literally the end?
Besides the relocation issue, which has been dead for over a year before he's killed, bad choice of words, I apologize. It had ended over a year before he was killed. Now they want to bring in something called the grandmother motion. This is what had to push her over the edge. Their own witnesses said she didn't know about it. Let's see who testified to that.
Glad to see you're prepared today. Donna is just like,
I'm so
Wendy
screwed.
I shouldn't
testified
have used that Groupon to get
her
that
daughter
attorney.
that she never showed it to her and she never talked to her about it. But then there were two more witnesses for the state, and they were Craig Isom and Jason Newland. And when they testified on cross, they admitted that there was no evidence that that motion had ever been forwarded to my client. Not a single piece of evidence. What if she had gotten it? Do you want to know what it accuses her of? That a 3- and 4-year-old said that they called Abba, that she had called Abba stupid. Stupid. And that drove her over the edge. One, she didn't know about it, but two, somebody claiming you said the word stupid, that's what brings us to murder charges? It's unbelievable. But that's their spin that they want to put on it because they've got this theory that she's the mastermind. And then they stand up here in their closing and they say, everybody who's been charged in this case, so they want to point at the other one, point at the other one, and point at the other one. No, 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 no. Who is pointing at these people? The state of Florida. The state of Florida is doing the pointing. They're the ones getting the warrants. They're the ones doing the investigation. They're the ones charging people, deciding who they're going to give deals to and not. That's them pointing the finger. That's not my client. There's no evidence of that. They bring the charges. They prosecute. They get the convictions. They get people sent off to prison. Not us. What? We're pointing the blame at the killers for killing them? They proved that those are the people who killed them. That's not us pointing the finger. They actually did it, and it's been proven. And we're distancing ourselves from Charlie Adelson. Let me tell you something. They elicited the testimony about Charlie Adelson over our objection, if you happen to remember that. It came in. Charlie Adelson is not on trial. You may be sitting in that jury room thinking, well, Charlie did it, and it sure looks like Wendy did it. That doesn't have an ounce to do with Donna Adelson doing a thing. Not a single thing. If you think he did it, he's been convicted. He admitted in his testimony that he is the person, although he claims he was extorted, he is the person that took $138,000 out of his refrigerator size safe that he has at his house with the money exactly like he says he kept it, stapling $100 bills together in stacks of 1,000, staple, 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 staple. He said he took that money out of his safe and he gave it to Catherine Magbanowa that night. Whether that's his girlfriend and they're still fooling around on the side, that's between the two of them. That's got nothing to do with my client. He did it. But now they want to say Donna Adelson did it. Pick one. You don't like our theory? That's what they say. You don't like our theory? Oh, well, you like our theory on everybody else. Pick one. If you have prosecuted Charlie Adelson for paying the $138,000 staple, just like their other witnesses in this case said, why are they now saying Donna Adelson provided the money? Oh, wait. Oh, because Catherine Magbanowa, who's been sentenced to life and is telling her sixth story now, has decided she'd like to see her kid someday. So now she's going to come in and provide information that will help the state prosecute an innocent woman so she can go home to her children.
What about the checks?
That's what that's about.
What about the checks, Jackie?
Yeah, she claims that this all goes down. Charlie puts the money, Charlie, not Donna, Charlie puts the money stapled just like she knows he does into her trunk. She drives it the next day to Sigfredo Garcia, her baby daddy. He takes it out of the trunk, and a day or two later, she gets hers back. And she says he puts it in her closet, and to this day, she wants you to believe that that money sat in her closet, and she spent it along the way. The records that Miss Hull testified to, showing all her cash deposits, she clearly was doing something with it, right? But to this day, she wants you to believe she has absolutely no idea how much money she had. Never counted it. Really?
What is she even arguing?
I don't even know where
She
her
must
point
think
is.
y'all was born yesterday.
Well,
But here's
we're
something.
watching it.
She's got this new thing she wants to testify to. That the money was wet, and Charlie told her that Donna had washed it. Her money's wet, that she hasn't touched, that's been somewhere else for these number of days. Well, what did Luis Rivera testify to about his money that he got? He said it was weird. Well, how was it weird? Well, it was stapled in $100 bills, stacks of 1,000. Not a single word about wet, and he got his money before she did. He got it straight from Sigfredo. This washing money wet thing is nonsense, and they've already proven that it was Charlie Adelson's money that was paid through Katie Magbanowa to those two killers. Whoops, it's gone.
Does she not realize
But
that
now-
if you put cash into a bag and seal it, and if
I'm
it's
not sure
wet,
what this
it's
is all
going to
about.
continue
the state
to...
standing up saying that the defense has suggested that Harvey is the one that did the Evite. We haven't said a single word, presented any evidence, or made any argument that Harvey Adelson is the one who created the Evite. Their witness that they called, Wendy Adelson, sat up there and said, what did she say? She probably did it because her mom doesn't know how. And then their other witness, Chris Corbett, Sergeant Corbett, who does all the media and cell phone tower stuff, he sat up there and he said it was clear to him from his research and investigation that my client, Donna Adelson, didn't have a clue how to work that. But she's responsible for sending out an Evite that Wendy says she did, where the names come up with guests who are going to be there that are Wendy Adelson, because she kept that name, and her two sons. So it's Wendy, the name of her two sons, and then Adelson at the end. If that's how it appears, Wendy did it, not my client. And there's more proof of that real quick to come. But the Evite thing is a non-issue. I just can't imagine what that is about. The state has argued that between the time the killers came to Tallahassee in June and the time that they came back in July and actually killed Danny Markel, that Catherine McBanawa said in her testimony that between those two time periods, when she was discussing scenarios with Charlie, he would say he had a call from his mother, step out, have the call, come back in and say, oh, they're stressed. Catherine McBanawa, not one single time testified to when that occurred, number one. Number two, if you've heard evidence in this case and paid attention, Charlie Adelson is not a one-woman man. He's got lots of girls. She doesn't know if that was really the mother on the phone. She doesn't know who he was talking to or what they were talking about. But she wants to get out of prison. So she's got information she's willing to share now. Charlie's business. There is a slide that the state had in its presentation this morning that they showed to you that shows that Charlie Adelson owned the dental practice up until 2015. Do you remember seeing that slide? Well, here they are again, ignoring the real evidence. They got a theory and they got to spin it some way. But the evidence from their expert witness, Mary Hall, financial investigator, forensic investigator, Mary Hall, she's up here testifying for them. And she says that Charlie Adelson was the owner of the Adelson Institute until 2020. And yet their slide says, oh, he sold it back to his father in 2015. That's not what the evidence is from their own witness.
And and this goes to showing her innocence. How?
There was some argument from the state about some things that were in Mrs. Adelson's planner in 2023 around the time that Charlie Adelson was convicted, and they apparently were going to flee the country, take flight to a non-extradition country.
That's exactly what they were doing.
And there's a notation in there shortly after Charlie is convicted that says cancel disability insurance. They want you to take what they believe that means as they were canceling their insurance because they were going away and never coming back. Could it be? Those were the words that were used. This is not a could it be situation. This is beyond a reasonable doubt. They have nothing other than that notation. Well, could it be that Charlie was convicted and he no longer needed disability insurance because he was going to prison for life? Just as likely. How about this? Could it be? Could it be in State's Exhibit 142 on the front page that they showed you with this little notation? Notify everyone who was invited to the 70th birthday. That party is off if that's what HJ decides to do. And that's on June the 13th. Could it be, the state says to you, that if the killing had actually taken place the first time the killers came up, then they'd be canceling the party because Danny would already be dead? What? Does that, where's the proof of any of this? Could that be what it means? This is not, could it be? And a birthday present, the birthday present, according to the state, for a 70-year-old man is that they're going to have Danny Markel killed. Happy birthday. Let's have a party. What? There's no birthday present, according to Rob Adelson. Wendy Adelson, who was at the party and who was involved, and there are emails that tell this, involved in helping get a caterer for the party where the man came and cooked paella out on the balcony for everybody. But that's what Charlie decided to give. But you got to read the worst in every single piece of evidence that they present to you. You have to, because that's the only way you can convict. And they didn't convict her.
Paella.
There's no evidence that there was a birthday present to Harvey Adelson to have this man killed.
Oh, silly us.
None.
It was all about
That's their
paella.
theory, and they're still spinning it. And you gotta ignore the witnesses that they put up there in order to follow their lead into that jury room and convict my client. Let's talk about Rob Adelson. They brought him in here, and he got up there and he testified on the stand about allegedly all of these things that he claims his mother said. If you were paying attention by the time we got to cross-examination, what did we learn about Rob Adelson? Well, he's a doctor and he's got little kids, so he's real busy, which is his explanation for why he rarely speaks to his family on the telephone and has, in that time period, only been down to see his family 2 times in a 2.5-year period.
Pause it for a second.
And he rarely talks to him on the phone.
This whole closing argument is Donna's grievances towards her family. This is this is like Festivus. This is the airing of grievances.
Yes.
She sat there last night with this attorney and just went off on everything she hates about her family. And that's basically what closing arguments has become. Because she didn't get up and testify because that would have been too risky. So she gave basically everything she wanted to communicate in her if she was going to testify to Tom Petty here. And this is how it's all coming out. Because if he didn't call the family enough, he could have done. This is Donna's words. This is Donna speaking. This is not Jackie. This is her coming through. This is her narcissism coming through her attorney. This is all this is. This is just her letting it fly.
I bet you're right. I bet you're right.
But somehow, Miss Adelson has made all of these comments. This is a guy with an axe to grind, right? He doesn't have any of this information. He's not talking to them. They got him to come for the birthday party, and what was his testimony? He's a busy guy. He flew in the night before the birthday. He was at the birthday party and got up the next morning, packed his bags, and put him and his wife and his kids on an airplane and left because he was busy.
Good for him.
Right?
He's not hanging out with his family.
He doesn't want to. They're nuts.
He's nowhere to be found.
Good.
Oh, but you got to believe everything he tells you. A huge percentage of the argument of the state was, well, what did Rob say? What did Rob? Rob doesn't have the knowledge of anybody. He's not here. He lives in Albany, New York, and he's not around these people. But let's use her son, who's clearly estranged from the family, to try and bury her.
We just had a great comment about Giorgio Armani dying.
My client has been charged with
Jackie's ill-fitting
of
suit.
Mr. Markel,
Great job, Diffie Dog. That was great.
conspiracy, the planning to commit murder, and solicitation, hiring the hitman that killed. We're going to go through the jury instructions briefly. The judge has already gone through them, but we're going to go through in a minute what actually is there that the state has to prove. And just like I said in opening, what the state thinks happened does not matter. What they believe happened does not matter. What spin they want to put on it does not matter. You can only make your decision based on the evidence presented to you, and up through the time that Dan Markel was killed, that's all they got. She said some ugly things, and she meddles in her children's lives. Meddles in their lives. Gets involved in their divorce. She's a parent. She's just being a parent, not a
That's
killer.
not.
She's a murderer, not a murderer.
Bitch.
No.
They haven't proven that to you.
Wonder what her kids are saying right now, if she has any.
Right?
Like, let me tell you, bitch.
Just like I told you in opening, what they were going to be able to prove, and that what you were going to hear a lot of evidence about, lots of introduction of exhibits was going to come in. They proved that those 2 men killed Danny Markel, that Catherine McDonough was the one who found the killers, that Charlie Adelson is the one that paid the money. That's it. And Wendy Adelson is the one who wants to get her kids back. That's why they're killing him. Nothing about Donna Adelson. We sat here for days listening to testimony of witness after witness getting on this stand. Not a single one of them connected my client to Danny Markel's murder. Not one.
Apparently she wasn't there.
Yeah, right.
What trial were you at?
Right? Huh?
I think the state introduced a couple of exhibits. They would be 64C and F.
Donna's getting...
I'm so screwed.
Donna looks toasted right now. They
Sorry, I
got the
can't do
camera on her.
technology. Somebody has to help me.
Oh my goodness.
Can't use the Tom.
These
Tom
are
Petty's not doing
emails.
technology.
Where she's giving her daughter advice on what she should do, preparing for mediation. Oh, how terrible of her. But what they didn't want you to see in this email, you see that highlighted part? If she thinks she's going to have him killed, why is she telling her daughter in mediation, make sure in the final order that he has to pay half of this expense and half of that expense and extracurricular activities and tennis lesson and baseball teams and travel? Well, who cares if they're going to kill him? Why is she writing that? Negotiate. Negotiate. Shame on her getting involved in her daughter's divorce. Negotiate. Let him know that you want him to see his children. And they talk a lot about this bribe. Bribe. This man, they were considering giving him $1 million to relocate because he had already lived in Miami with Wendy. Relocate back to Miami. He taught, according to Wendy, 2 days a week. He could commute by airplane. They were willing to pay for plane tickets, give him money to buy a house, expose his children to a more strict Jewish environment where they had Jewish schools and all kinds of activities and be around more kids, kosher like Danny. Relocation was never about taking those kids away from him. It was, how can we make it happen? You can live in the same city. We can co-parent separately, but be together, be around each other, and all have family support. Shame on them for wanting to help him like that. They act like they were doing something illegal. That's not illegal. You heard the woman testify. It happens a lot in divorces. People offer money to get certain things that they want, or they concede something they're entitled to. But if Mrs. Adelson does it, she must be up to no good. This grandmother motion, I want to point out something to you for just a second. That would be 60JJ. The state calls this the grandmother motion because they're prosecuting grandma. Sounds kind of cool, right? There's this terrible motion, this grandmother motion that was filed against my client, Mrs. Adelson. This pleading is actually entitled, let's see here, Former Husband's Counter Motion for Enforcement of MSA, which is Marriage Settlement Agreement, on Parenting Issues and Motion for Contempt and Sanctions. And this pleading goes on and on about, he says Wendy's refusing to facilitate video teleconferencing with the 3 and 4-year-old, that she's failing to regularly facilitate telephone contact with the children, that she routinely violates the right of first refusal, resulting in the children missing days from preschool, that she violates her duty to inform that's in the MSA. She fails to follow clinical recommendations. She violates by refusing to communicate with Mr. Markel. She persists in inhibitory parental gatekeeping, refused to provide access to have both children on one of the child's birthdays. The only single complaint he makes about my client is she called him stupid, according to a 3 and 4-year-old. And I can do this, but I'll try. Thanks. Number 6, this is the section. You can write a motion and put all your complaints in it and your legal argument, and then you ask for what is the relief that you want. He wants all kind of relief related to Wendy. And this is what they say. The state says that he's saying that the grandmother cannot have any unsupervised contact with the children. That's not what it says at all. It says consistent with the right of first refusal. And safeguard the children so she doesn't call him stupid anymore. This does not mean she can't have unsupervised contact. It means consistent with the right of first refusal. If grandma's in town and she's going to watch the children, according to their marriage settlement agreement, he has to be given the opportunity first if he wants to take care of the kids. That's what was agreed to in the divorce. That doesn't say no more unsupervised contact with grandma. Now, besides her not knowing about it, what is the evidence? I don't want to mess this up.
Well, you already have.
What is the evidence that supports 2 things? 1, that my client did not know it had been filed, and 2, that Danny Markel was not trying to keep my client from having unsupervised contact with him. Well, the proof is from Wendy's testimony that he continued himself, because during the course of the marriage and separation and divorce, my client, Mrs. Adelson, didn't just continue to assist Wendy when Wendy needed help with the kids. She continued to assist Danny. And in fact, that motion was filed on March the 26th. And the testimony was for almost 2 weeks in April, my client watched the boys while both parents were out of town. And my client facilitated the Skype with the grandsons for Mr. Markel. Now, if he's really worried about her having unsupervised contact, is he going to leave him with her for almost 2 weeks in April? And he does it again and again. And the last time that he does it is on July the 11th. That's according to Wendy. He comes home and he needs help. She's going to go do something. And then now it's his time to have the children. So he asked my client, Mrs. Adelson, if she could watch the boys. And she does. And she knows he likes this particular kind of banana bread that she makes. And they're going to mock us for this, but that's okay. He likes this particular kind of banana bread. It's got chocolate chips in it and no nuts. And so what did my client do? Before he came to pick up the boys the next morning, the evening before, she makes him a loaf.
All right.
But
She's
she hates him.
innocent. There's a loaf of
She hates
banana
him.
bread.
She wants him dead.
And paella.
Jeez.
And clearly he hates her because he filed a motion. It's unbelievable. Us sitting here is actually unbelievable. Now, I want to talk about the day that Danny was killed with respect to my client. We're not going to go through all the details again, but what is the evidence about my client?
That's what we've been waiting
The
for.
state has said that my client tried to set up an alibi for her daughter. I don't know how it could have ever been considered an alibi because the man was going to get there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and the evidence is he got killed around 11 o'clock.
But she just,
But
where'd she go?
State's Exhibit 64 FF is from the Geek Squad. And the state presented earlier that not only did Donna Adelson send an email to Wendy that morning, or before then actually, not only did Donna send an email to her about the appointment, but Harvey, the dad, did as well. And here is the form that was completed, not by Donna. They say Donna arranged it. Mr. Harvey actually made this appointment for the broken television. They had purchased a plan for protection on this television and believe they may get a replacement or a repair.
Not if you throw
When they
something
made
at
it, you have to fill out some information on the form. And what does this say? Would you be willing to accept a sooner appointment if one became available? Yes. Well, now, are you going to accept an earlier appointment if it becomes available? If you've got a homicide planned?
Yes, because
That
it
doesn't
looked
make any sense. This is supposed to be her alibi, but they're agreeing you could come earlier if you want. And then the mother sends an email. Do we have that?
It's a perfect alibi.
And what she tells her daughter is, if you can't keep Friday, July the 18th between 8 a.m. and noon, call that number to reschedule. The contract is under Harvey Adelson's name with Dad's cell phone number, but the purchaser is actually Miss Donna's name and cell phone number, and she provides her with a work order. Here, we did this for you, like we do everything else for you, and apparently that's a bad thing according to the state, helping your kids this much. But
it is.
Here, we helped you out, but if this doesn't work out for you, change it.
Oh God, she's a clone of her. You can tell
alibi.
that the dynamics in her world.
You got to read bad into every single thing they present to you to come to the conclusion that they come to.
Yep.
Now let's talk about defense exhibit 71. There was, according to the testimony that you heard from the state, Wendy Adelson was interviewed at TPD the day that Danny was killed. They went and found her at a restaurant, and they've introduced these pictures about what she did that day and where she went and how she took the long way around. But she's sitting at TPD being interviewed, and she has requested to be able to call her mother. And unlike other exhibits where the state hired someone to enhance it so you could hear the call better, they didn't do that in this case. And the recording is actually inside the room. You can see it. It's an interview room at TPD. And not only are you hearing what Wendy is saying, there's the victim advocate that testified that my client was shocked when she heard the news. But my client is actually on the other end of the phone, so it's not real easy to hear. But if you put the headphones on, you're actually going to hear some things, and you can hear what my client's reaction is to finding out that Danny Markel has been shot. Excuse me. Can we play that? If you could just please put your headphones on. It's not easy to hear.
It's going to sound like Peanuts. Here's your moment, Donna. Time to shine with shock. If you can play it.
Right here.
You sit down. I'm fine, and the boys are fine. Danny has been. Dan, you can put me on speaker. Yeah. Danny has been shot. And I don't think he's gonna make it. And so I know. So I found this out around 1 or 2 today, and I'm at the police station, and I'm trying to help them figure out who may have done this. The boys are fine. I had Lynn and Ellen pick them up from school, and they're with Lynn and Ellen right now. And I'm gonna leave here soon and go be with them. But I really need you to come here and be with me. But I want you to either fly, I mean, obviously you can't commute right now, but I need you to get yourself together. If it's too much to drive, I'd really rather that you flew up. I'm at the police station, and I'm gonna leave soon and be with the boys before they go to bed. They're with Alan and Lynn, and they're totally fine. Yeah, the boys are fine, but they don't know anything yet. In his house, I know. So I just need you to calm down before you get in the car, okay? Okay, so, and it's evening, so if you want to come here tomorrow, I have a lot of people that'll, be here with me, and, we'll have a lot of support. So I want you to take your time and just be safe in getting here, but I'd like you to come when you can, okay? Okay, all right. I love you. I think Jane might, I have the car here, but Jane might take me. I'm not going to be alone, so I have a lot of support, and I'll be fine. Yeah, if you could just come here, that would be great. He's in the ICU in the hospital. Okay, but be careful, okay? Okay. Okay. Okay, love you too. Bye. Mom.
Can you pick me up a sub on the way over?
I haven't actually put the headphones on, but hopefully that assisted you in hearing. But like the victim advocate for TPD testified, she was shocked. She's not sitting home waiting for a phone call. Let us know that it's done. It's 7:00 at night, and Wendy's calling from TPD to tell her mother that Danny has been shot. She has to tell her to calm down before she gets on the road, and you can clearly hear her elevated voice. She's asking about Danny. How did it happen? Where was it at? Well, where's he at now? He's at the hospital. This is not somebody who's planned for him to be killed.
Because she's worried that he's gonna make it through.
Now the state has made a pretty big deal about the road trip that the 70-year-old man and 64-year-old woman take that evening when they leave their home.
She's locked. She's glitching.
It's 11 years into this.
What is happening here?
This July that just passed.
Good thing somebody slapped the CD
Before the
player.
investigator in this case, who's given testimony
Done that
again and again, after he's deposed, decides, I'll go ride the route. 11 years. They've been claiming now, my client, arrested almost 2 years ago, that this ride is completely off, but they haven't even tried it themselves, right? And even when he testified, and also when Agent Sanford testified, first of all, he didn't do the whole route. He did a segment because he's determined that in this segment is where Mrs. Adelson was at for too long. Did you take any snacks when you did the ride? And he's only doing part of it. Well, yeah. Did you get some coffee? Yeah. But they've calculated this drive for these folks who have just received horrible news and they're clearly upset about it, that they had to be at their son's house dropping off money that was washed because there's a period of time that it takes them longer to get to their hotel in Orlando than it should have. They took into consideration nothing with respect to their age, that they hadn't had anything to eat. They didn't calculate any time in to stop and get gas or to use the restroom or to maybe sit down and have a meal. None of that's counted in. It's got to be a strict from here to there, and you're not there, then you must be doing something bad, and it must have something to do with murder. They give no consideration to that whatsoever. But what's stronger than that is their own testimony from their expert. They have all of these slides that they've shown you where they can show where everybody is in the entire world. And did you notice that for the killers, they had collected records with SunPass and cell towers, etc. And they have a whole map that they're showing you where they went and what they got. They got the SunPass records for the killers. Agent Sanford said that my client was a person of interest from the beginning, but he had her locked in a year. And yet here we are 11 years later, and they never bothered to get her SunPass records. They can get them. They got the killers. If they want to tell you that they're stuck in a certain area and they've gotten off in a certain place, all they had to do was get those records. But they didn't do it. They can prove where the killers are, but not my client. But one thing for certain that they did say is they cannot put my client's phone at Charlie's house during this time period that they say that they took too long to get somewhere. They also testified that there is never a point in time that evening where Charlie's cell phone is hitting on a tower and either Harvey or Donna's cell phones are hitting on the same tower. They don't even have them in the same vicinity, much less the house. But they want you to believe that means Mrs. Adelson was there dropping off money. They have no evidence of it. It's just their theory. That's all it is. You can't convict somebody based on theory. You have to have evidence beyond a reasonable doubt.
I think they do.
How about this text message that says outside your house?
Rebuttal's going to be good.
Outside your house means outside your house. I'm not saying that's illogical to jump to that conclusion, but do you have any evidence of it? No, they can't put her there. And according to State's Exhibit 142, if Mrs. Adelson was at Charlie's house, what in the world is she doing hanging outside for over 30 minutes before he gets there? She's got the garage door code to get in, but she's outside the house. They introduced this. She had talked to him, according to their records. She had been on the phone with Charlie. She talked to Charlie. And then later on, they send this text message, and it could mean many different things. But it would have been 30 minutes while they were waiting there for him to get there. And there's no reason for them to be outside the house because they know he's not there. It took him 10 minutes to send, or 20 minutes to send a message back saying he was 10 minutes away. And then he had to travel there. They don't have proof that she went there. They want you to envision it and imagine it and believe it because that's their narrative. That's what they tell. And I don't think I said it before, but the witnesses, the additional witnesses that testified that Charlie kept his cash, these $100 bills stapled together, that was Miss Umchinda and Mr. Fitzpatrick. They both testified they knew Charlie well, and that's what he did. No evidence at all that my client did that. Do you remember back in jury selection? I didn't do it for Miss Adelson. My co-counsel did, Mr. Zellman. But he asked you a series of some similar questions, and he asked you, would you agree that the state could make a mistake in the theory of their case? Yeah. Would you agree that law enforcement could make a mistake in their investigation and determining who they think committed a crime? Yeah. That was the overall response that we got. It was asked of everybody who came up that got individual questions. I mean, questions as a group. Well, according to Special Agent Pat Sanford with the FBI, do you remember his testimony? According to him, he has never made a mistake. Not one time in his career has he ever thought somebody committed a crime and he ended up being wrong. You know what the problem is? When he thought she was a person of interest from the beginning, and then he, according to his testimony, locked in on Donna Adelson, the path didn't lead to Donna Adelson. They tried to build a path with something as flimsy as these emails that they say are the motive for her to have him killed. They made some other mistakes. Rob Adelson calling him to testify was a mistake because they've clearly relied on his evidence, and he testified himself. He wouldn't have the basis to give it. He's never around. And then they called Patricia Bird. That's their next mistake. She claims, different ways, that Donna was going to buy her some land and a trailer to put on it, a small car to drive, and fix her teeth to testify untruthfully. She said that a white female investigator actually offered her all of those things. But then when it was pointed out to her that the investigator that came to see her was actually an African-American female, oh, it was her that did it. Then she wants to tell you that my client confessed to her. I asked her, did she do what they said you did? And Miss Donna said yes. Well, she's not clear on this confession because when Mr. Zellman was asking her questions, she couldn't remember if it was Donna said she wrote the checks or she confessed to the whole crime. But here's a woman sitting in front of you that has come up all of a sudden at the end of the game, and here she is claiming that an investigator offered her these things, and that was for false testimony, that Miss Adelson was trying to elicit false testimony, have her come in here and swear under oath and testify to things that were not true. Well, both investigators came in here and said that never happened. She was never offered anything. She never told us that Donna had offered her anything. Most importantly, she never told us that Donna confessed. None of that. She's facing going to prison, and she has an opportunity to come in here and testify against Miss Adelson so she can get a deal. What was she facing, 5 or 6 years? Here's the biggest part. Did you hear what the judge read to you this morning before he started with the jury instructions? He read to you a stipulation. As he explained, that means the state and the defense agree to certain facts, and you must accept them as true. And what was the stipulation? Patricia Byrd was never on the witness list for Donna Adelson. Well, isn't that interesting? She was going to come in and testify falsely for Donna Adelson, and she's never been on a witness list. And then you got Drina Byrd. This is not just someone who is hoping for some help in her case. She already got it. Her testimony was she is a 27-time convicted felon and or crimes involving dishonesty, facing 15 years in the Department of Corrections as a prison releasee reoffender, which means you get day for day with no gain time. Here she comes saying she's got all this evidence, and Donna's offering to do the same things for her that, oddly enough, Patricia Byrd in the same cell block has said is going to happen. What does she do? We tried really hard not to bore you by playing the whole tape, but there's an exhibit that we put in, and it's the video of where Donna and Miss Bernhardt are sitting at a table. Oddly enough, Miss Byrd wasn't there, and she told you that she was with Donna Adelson day and night talking about her case. She wasn't anywhere around when they're sitting at this table, but you can watch that video again. I would just like you to recall this. Who shows up to that table first? Drina Bernhardt does. Who shows up with paper and a writing instrument? Drina Bernhardt does. And while they're sitting at the table, is Donna sitting there just telling her? No, they're having a conversation. How does the writing start? Miss Bernhardt gets out her little hot pink folder, paper, whatever it's called, notebook, plops it open, shoves it towards Donna Adelson, and starts tapping on it. Let's get busy writing. You don't hear those words, but that's what she's doing. Here, right. And allegedly, she's going to do the same thing, give false testimony, and her name is not on a witness list. A little bit more about Catherine McBanawa. No, actually, I covered that. So if this is all they got, up until the time that he died, just that she said bad things about him and helped her daughter with her divorce, what is the evidence that they have after Danny Markel was killed? They put this evidence in. They got nothing to show that my client was involved in any way leading up to the time that he was killed. But they elicited the testimony that it was 2 months after the murder when Charlie Adelson discloses for the first time to his mother what he knows about the case. Now, all she knows is what he's telling her, but it's 2 months after the murder when he's telling her, well, what happened was I got a girlfriend, and I had told her about this $1 million offer, and she said it in front of some of her friends, and they've gone up there and killed Danny Markel, and now they're demanding money. And so they said if I didn't turn over my third of the $1 million, this is what he claims that they elicited. If I didn't turn over that money, then I'd be dead in 48 hours or they'd kill my family. So he goes into his safe and pulls out $138,000 cash, puts it in a bag, gives it to Katie, tells his mother 2 months after the homicide, now he's being extorted. She works at Adelson Institute. They want you to believe this is a family business. Does family work there? Clearly. But who owns the business? Who does the money belong to? Who is Mrs. Adelson writing and paying all the bills for? Who's she doing the salary for? Everybody there. Everybody there. So he tells her, right around $1,000 a month to Katie Magbanawa. It'll save my life. They had this forensic investigator, and they didn't present anything to you, not a single check ever that Charlie Adelson signed for his business, because he had his mother paying the bills, doing salary and other things at the dental office. That's him paying these people. She's doing her job because he says it'll save his life. She believed it was the truth, so she did what he told her to do. Was there pushback or not? We don't know. They didn't present any evidence about that. They claim she would have pushed back. Maybe she did. We don't know. But what we do know is it's 2 months after the murder before she knows what has gone down. That's their evidence. But she conspired with people to have him killed. She got the hitman to have him killed, and she wanted him killed, and he ended up dead. She doesn't even know about this going on. And the only version she knows is what her son has told her. Did she say, oh, the truth's coming out, the truth's coming out, the truth's coming out? She did, because that's what Charlie had told her the truth was. And that's her son. And she believed him. And she didn't want her son to die. She wrote paychecks at Charlie's instruction. That's not her giving cash and paying off murderers. That's a paycheck to Katie. That's it. That's all she did.
Hi.
So we're bumping along, and now we're in 2016, and it's a bump. Law enforcement testified to you that they created this scenario where they could try and get information to further investigate this homicide. So they've locked in on Mrs. Adelson, so they're going to set her up. Funny thing is, Mr. Sanford testified to what probable cause is that you have to get a wiretap on somebody's phone, and you have to have proof that a crime has been committed, and this is likely the person who committed the crime. It's not proof beyond a reasonable doubt. It's the same that you have to get a warrant to arrest someone. But when they do this bump in April of 2016 to June, who do they get wiretaps on? Charlie Adelson and Catherine Magbanawa. Not Donna Adelson. But they're just sure she's the mastermind behind this. So what do? They follow her. They watch her daily routine. They pick a location where she is taking her grandchildren, Mr. Markel's children, to and from school. And they decide that's where they're going to do this bump. This is State's Exhibit 113 of the bump on the street that took place on April the 19th of 2016. Am I in anybody's way?
What is it? Okay, bye.
Poor Donna. Look at her sitting there.
She knows it's done.
It's over.
I think she's, yeah. What a pathetic defense
This is
thus
Dallas.
far.
Hey, Dylan, just want to give you this. Listen, no, don't be scared. Listen, just want to let you know that we know that your family has been taking care of Katie and her friend Lugo for quite some time after your problem up north that was resolved. And I want to let you know that my brother, he's incarcerated. He helped your family with this problem that it's had up north. And we want to make sure that he's going through some rough times. And we want to make sure that you take care of what he's going through, the way you're taking care of Katie and Lugo. Well, this will explain it. Thank you.
What did she say? You scared me. And he goes on his little explanation, and her response is, I don't know what you're talking about. Now, the state says from what happens next, which is a phone call that Mrs. Adelson makes, she has to be involved in this murder because she doesn't call the cops. She calls Charlie. Well, why'd she call Charlie? Because Charlie has confessed to her his role in paying the killers back in September of 2014, that it's his money, claiming he's being extorted, claiming his life is at risk. That's who she's going to call, because guess what? Now this man is talking about the people who are involved in the murder. You're taking care of Katie. So yes, she calls. And the state wants you to believe that there's this huge made up code. They allowed you to look at the transcripts when that was going on. And you looked, I watched, you were all intent looking at the transcripts and listening to the calls. If you go back and want to hear them again, you're welcome to do that. She's responding to his questions and his instructions not to talk about this on the phone, but he keeps pushing and pushing and pushing. So she's trying to give him a hint without actually saying on the phone what's going on. These are hints,
Is that
not
what that is?
code words like the state wants you to believe. Can I have just 1 second, please?
So I believe this is where the judge talks to them and then they go on to a break.
Oh, so they're having a little moment there?
Yep.
Okay.
They're back in the corner chatting. They're
having a sidebar.
Are there snacks in the corner? Are they refilling their snacks?
But it looks like the jury hasn't left the room, so it looks like it's
but they're going to. He's going to give a break to everybody, and they're actually on break right now live.
Okay, great. Well, that's good because I have to go pick up my daughter here in a few moments. But I'm going to connect to the feed here via StreamYard in just a moment, so I will still be in connection to everybody. And in just a few moments, we'll take a look back on some interesting observations on the case thus far. Eric Faddis, we're going to play back an interview, a conversation I had with him earlier. He's actually going to be joining us tomorrow morning on the program around 11 a.m. Central to discuss where the case is at and what might be happening next if we don't get a verdict this evening, or if we're going to be in verdict watch tomorrow, which, judging by thus far in the day, I mean, it's 3:00 in Florida. I don't know that we're going to be getting a verdict tonight, but that all depends what the judge wants to allow.
How much money do I lose now? Because I thought for sure this was going to happen today.
Same amount that I won when I knew that Donna wasn't going to take the stand, which is nothing. Yeah,
it's a wash.
It's a wash.
Okay.
What's the restroom? Stretch your legs. Judge is saying what here?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. We
And
out.
then there's a small break. So, what do you think so far of Mr. Petty?
Oh man, she's a disaster. She is. I'm blurry again. Sorry, kids. Let's see if I can get myself focused again here. I will talk as I visually focus. Yeah, I think she's a disaster. I would want a refund if I were the client, to be honest with you. What a mess.
She's been getting into more detail than I was expecting her to, actually. I didn't expect, I guess, as robust reactions here, but they're all over the board. And the thing, I get the case is all over the board too. So, I mean, that's the other, you're kind of screwed on this no matter what. No matter what you're going to argue, you have to kind of go everywhere with it. Yeah. But the fact that she is arguing a lot of these little micro points that really have nothing to do with the guilt or the innocence of Donna Adelson. That's where I just keep going back to what I said earlier. This is Donna speaking through her. This is her airing her grievances against her family. Jackie sat there and took notes and said, okay, she wants to hit this, she wants to hit that. Yep. And she's hitting all the points. They're not arguments that are going to set her free, that are going to make the jury think she's innocent. In fact, most of these arguments look more damning than they do helpful. They feel like they're incriminating her more and putting her more in places and situations that certainly make her look very suspect.
That's how I felt too. I'll tell you, if my divorce attorney acted this way, I would be in some serious trouble. I would be pissed.
I realize that Harvey has not testified or anything, but he's the only family member that hasn't been thrown under the bus today so far.
Oh, no, he has been. He's been.
Did you bring some stuff up about Harvey?
There was. It's on my other page of notes over here. Harvey on the landline.
The landline mention.
Where where Charlie calls him on the landline while he is in the process, or while Megbana is in the process of, I believe, renting the car for the hitman. Charlie calls him and then on the landline and then talks to, I believe, Donna. I think it was her Wendy right after that. So, I mean, it shows his knowledge of something going on. I mean, unless Charlie just called to talk about the weather, which I kind of doubt that's the case.
Florida. I mean, the weather's the same every day.
It's going to rain.
Let me ask you this. If you are Harvey and your wife is on trial and you are kind of getting, I don't know, I don't want to use the term fingered, but if there's some stuff pointing back to you, how do you feel how do you feel
You're
about
right.
that? I mean, again,
you're not wrong.
Yeah. I mean, here he is. He's sitting in the crowd looking just like the Muppet again yesterday.
He is.
I don't know. It just seems like everybody else is getting everything pointed at them. And Donna was just so innocent. She was just a bystander of everything going on around her. Come on.
I think he's sitting there going, that wretched bitch is finally getting what she deserves.
You think so?
I wonder. I do wonder. I mean, there ain't a whole lot of, he looks very frustrated. He looks very angry. He looks just like that character. I think it's a combination of, really? How did I get here? Is this how I was expecting the end of life to look like for me? My retirement years, my golden years. I worked my ass off to support this wretched bitch her whole life, and her narcissism and her controlling. And this is what it got me. It's got me at 70 years old and I look like one of Jeff Dunham's puppets. And I have the cast of Soap sitting behind me.
Jesus.
Oh, there's some old references. Holy shit.
It is. But it's it looks like 1989 at a cocktail party and they're still wearing the same dresses that they bought at the Dayton's or something,
Wow.
It's
Midwest
just
reference.
Yeah, it's like it's sad. I don't know that I feel bad for him because I think he had knowledge of this. I think he feels he's a bystander to a certain extent. I think he's a victim of Donna. I think everyone in Donna's wake is a victim of Donna. but there comes agency, and there comes the ability to make your own choices in life.
And he has no agency. You. I'm sure she ruled the roost. It was probably like, well, the little woman, I do what she wants me to do.
At some point, you're a grown up too, and you got to say enough is enough.
Yesterday, Stacey, you were asking Siobhan, I think, about Everybody Loves Raymond. I think that's when it came up in our conversation. Yeah.
Yes.
At least the family members knew what Marie was like, and they, even though she was able to manipulate them to a certain extent, all of them stood up to her at least a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But apparently not in this family. And if you did, like, I have a feeling Wendy may have kind of tried to bow out on some of this kind of stuff. Then she was throwing Wendy under the bus within the family. Well, we've done so much for Wendy and she's doing nothing for us.
There was so much of that passive aggressive bullshit in the test, not the testimony, it felt like testimony, but in the arguments of her attorney, where it was just, oh, well, the kids could have done this. They could have done that. Why are you the attorney speaking and saying things like, why are you shaming the children for having their own lives? And I guess it's wrong if mother does everything for the kids. Yeah, it is kind of wrong at 35 that you're doing this amount of basic shit for your child. I get it if they're 8. By 15, I'd already be training them to do this stuff on their own so they can go be functioning members of society,
right,
and not reliant on mom and dad. So yeah, there is a lot wrong with it. It's called enmeshment. It's called narcissistic control. So yeah, there is a lot wrong with it. I know you're just repeating what Donna said to you, over coffee the other day, going, oh, there's something wrong with that, I guess, too. And I'm sure that woman is sitting up there, Tom Petty's going, oh, I know. You can just see the two of them just commiserating in their angst and how they feel slighted by their family that they gave so much for.
Sacrificed everything for them.
But at the end of the day, they didn't. Every choice that was made was about Donna being happy. Yep. It was about that. It wasn't about the kids' happiness. It was about her image, how she looked, what their choices, how they reflected on her. And at the end of the day, she didn't want 2 Jewish grandkids. And she didn't want them being raised by him up there. She wanted them close because that's her right, because they're her kids in her mind. Everything is hers in her mind. Everybody else is a puppet in her little show. And this is when you get called on the carpet like this. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. Take murder out of this, and you could still call her out on most of these things of being just a horrible human being.
Yep.
It is what it is, and these people know no bounds to what they will do to try and control those around them.
Agreed. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, they are in a break right now, and we're going to bring you back live as soon as they come back to see the conclusion of Tom Petty's closing arguments. And then we're likely going to see a rebuttal. The state, it's their choice. They could say, we're good, we've said our stuff, but I think the amount of graveling and the amount of misinformation that's been thrown into the jury's ears over the last hour is likely going to need probably a little bit of correction from the prosecution. So we'll probably have another break after that and see that. It's a long day. This is a long show, everyone, isn't it? We're going and covering this whole damn thing. So until we get back, until the jury comes back, we're going to take a look at a conversation I had with Eric Faddis about this case. This is some insight from a defense attorney and former prosecutor on where this is all going. And like I said, when they come back in, we're going to break right back into the coverage of Donna Adelson. Let's check this out.
This is Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi. Here now, Tony Bruschi.
Donna Adelson. There's so much to discuss in this case, and there's so many legal questions I think a lot of us are starting to stack our list with, because it's getting more dicey, it's getting more questionable, it's getting more obvious the guilt of Donna Adelson, let's be honest. But I want to start with something in this next conversation that I really think cuts through this first week and a half of testimony. The family. We've now seen Donna and her own children take the stand. Robert came across blunt, detached, almost clinical in how he described his mother's control. Wendy, on the other hand, was evasive, giving jurors a steady diet of, I don't remember. Instead of showing family unity, it exposed a lot of cracks. Estrangement, discomfort, resentment. It's not a good look for the defendant who's trying to project a warm grandmotherly image. Unfortunately, no cardigan can bring that to the jurors. Eric Faddis, defense attorney, joining me to discuss. Eric, let's just start out with all of this. What kind of impact does it have when jurors hear children describe their parent, the defendant, as they've heard her described like controlling? Let's start with that.
Yeah, I mean, who knows an individual better in the vast majority of circumstances but the children? You know, they grew up with this person. They've seen them over the course of years and years, watch their conduct. They know the family dynamic. They know what their mom's like, you know? And so in this case, the prosecution's theme is essentially that Donna had her hands in all of this, that she was intimately involved in the child custody issue. And those themes were kind of corroborated by what the children had said.
Very, very much so, and very, very clearly, I would say as well. How do you think jurors are weighing in contrast Robert's kind of, matter-of-fact answers against Wendy's kind of foggy, more, I don't remember hesitancy with her Botox eyebrows?
Yeah, certainly the jury is taking it all in, and you have kind of contrasting presentations on the stand between Robert and Wendy here. Mm-hmm. And so, they're going to look at, hey, are one of these kids trying to protect their mom? Do one of these kids kind of not care and are just kind of giving it to the jury straight? And looking at it through that paradigm, the jury might conclude that, hey, Robert, who's been estranged from Donna for some time, he has less of an interest to protect his mom. He's more likely to just kind of come with it and give the straight facts to this jury. So I wonder if they're giving more credibility to sort of how he described things.
And I'm wondering how they read to the jury, and I'm curious to get your perspective, as a former prosecutor, as a defense attorney, where you have, the combination of the two. You got the one being more evasive, you got the one being more direct. Is Wendy's evasiveness, does that help mom? Does it hurt Donna by making the whole thing look even shadier? Because they're both coming across at least with a level of shadiness about mom. One a little more direct and extreme. The other one like, well, I don't want to say anything too bad.
Yeah, it certainly projects not the greatest look for Donna there. It looks suspicious. It looks shady, like you said. The other hand, this case, it relies on a lot of circumstantial evidence, and Wendy did not provide anything overly direct or substantive that incriminates Donna, in my opinion. And so while it might not be the best look, it also doesn't add to the prosecution and what they need to meet their burden.
But it also went to the character of Donna Adelson. And I think that's a big part of all understanding Donna Adelson, not just circumstantial evidence, but understanding the character. And if the jury understands people at all, they'll know if something is a big divergent from their normal line of actions. And it seems Donna consistently was out there all the time talking about the big problem being Dan Markel. No matter what it was, it seemed like there was no filter on Donna most of the time. So could we do this? Could we do that? Could we get the money? Could we hire a hitman? It sounds like it was just throw up of all of these ideas. And then if you're reading it together, you hear Wendy later talking to, an ex-boyfriend that my brother looked into all options. Sounds like Charlie took the hint that, Donna was suffering and we had to help Donna. We had to fix this for Donna more than anyone else because she couldn't sleep at night, this and that he literally took that, just bleh of everything and seeked everything out. That's some disturbing stuff there that anyone went that far.
All right, looks like we're getting back to some live coverage here from the courthouse, and Tony Bruschi is driving right now, which doesn't seem safe to me.
Let's go back to the courtroom and see what's going on, and then we'll reconvene and discuss what Miss Petty had to say.
Arrangement that they want. Donna Adelson.
Do you have that? There's a transcript of that. You can't make out everything they say, but this is part of the transcript that I wanted to point out to you. This is Charlie Adelson talking. Don't waste your time with mom. They need to talk to someone who's first person. Wouldn't it make sense that they make a connection to my family, to me, to my family, not my mom? And then he says to Katie, "You're the office help. Checks are on me. That's just because they found out you come in and work on the weekends. Trust me, I'll keep you on full time, so you're going to get your checks." That's Charlie Adelson agreeing that he's keeping her on payroll, and the checks from him will keep coming. After the bump on the street, Mrs. Adelson receives a letter. And the statement from, or the evidence that came from the state's witness, you recall that he said that his instructions on when he met her on the street was to be polite. This is not so polite. The next thing, she gets a letter and it says, "So my phone is not ringing, so you don't care about Tato and what he did for you. He knows he is fucked, and soon so will you." Now, it doesn't say I'm going to kill you, but now the threatening behavior is coming, and they're taking the next step to try and get Mrs. Adelson to come out and admit to something. If she pays the $5,000, bingo, right? She doesn't do that. So that happened on April the 26th. Then she does nothing still. She's scared, and you recall from the phone calls, she's scared. She thinks it's someone related to the killer. She's worried about her safety. She thinks something bad is going to happen to her, but Charlie just keeps saying, "Mom, everything's okay. You have nothing to worry about." Then on May the 4th at 2:09 in the morning, the undercover sends her a text message, 2:09 in the morning. "So you don't take me serious. You think I'm playing. You have some puta call me to see if I'm for real. If you think what Katie baby daddy did for you can't come back, you're fucking crazy. I want the now, or I'm going after the 100K. So threatening, "I'm going to go to the police. This is not going away. Don't think that I'm gone. We're still here, and you're going to do something about it." That happens on May the 4th. As you recall from going through the wire summary with the state, other calls take place in between. And then on May the 6th, finally, Donna calls the undercover at the number that he had provided initially, that shows here on State's Exhibit 83 with the article about Danny Markel being murdered. Call or text, that's the number that was provided, 305-712-6570, and the dollar amount of $5,000. Now, the state has said to you, innocent people don't fold the paper up and put it in their pocket. I'm pretty sure there's not going to be a jury instruction that tells you she must be guilty because she folded it up and put it in her pocket. She took it very seriously. She got her grandchildren, she went home, and she immediately called Charlie to report that. But now she's calling the number that was provided, and you've heard from the testimony, she downloaded an app so it could be recorded, but of course it was being recorded by the undercover as well. Could we play that call? And I think we have provided a transcript to you because it wasn't provided previously, if you'd like to read along.
Well, this is Mrs. Adelson. Is this Danny? Danny. Okay. My grandchildren had my phone before, so
Donna Adelson?
I'm Mrs. Adelson.
Yes.
My grandchildren had my phone before, so that's, and I just saw that you called.
Oh, okay. You left a message on my voicemail.
Right, you did.
No.
This is my problem. You approached me on Fulton Road. You handed me an article from the newspaper about my ex-son-in-law. You told me I need to call you and help your friend who is in prison. Now, at the time you did that, I didn't understand what you were talking about. I didn't call you back. Then you mail me a threatening letter. Then you send me a text message to my phone that says I'm not taking you seriously. So I am taking you seriously. And I really want you to listen to me. I have to tell you, this is important. I've been so stressed out. I have spoken to 10 or 12 people who are close friends of mine, telling them about this and basically picking their brains and asking them what I should do, because I don't know your friend who is in jail. You mentioned a name. I don't even know his name. I never spoke to him. I don't know what he looks like. I've never met him. I'm sorry your friend's in jail, but I don't know what that has to do with me.
You know exactly what it has to do with. You know exactly what it is. Listen to me carefully. Listen to me. You just gotta listen to me.
You need to ask who this person looks like, what their name is, something, because I know there's a big reward out there, and if you need money for your friends, that's the way you get it. I mean, I'm asking you nicely. I don't know who he is. I am out of the loop. It is not me. If I can help, I would help. I mean, that's what.
Just like I told you, listen to me. Just like I told you that day, we know that your family had a problem up north. We know that problem was taken care of about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And we know that Katie has been taken care of and has been taken care of. Now my brother in jail, we were in Broward together. He told me the whole thing, and he hasn't been taken care of. You know. Now, all that's being asked for is 5K. That's all we're asking for is 5K. And he told me everything, and I know everything. I know who's involved. I know everything, and I'll get the 100K for myself.
You know,
all I ask is to send the 5K. Everybody knows what's going on.
You're saying everyone knows. I know I lost my ex-son-in-law. I did not have anything to do with it. That's why I said, ask him what.
That's what my brother Tato told me. He told me everything when we were in jail. He told me everything and who was involved. I know everything.
Well, I don't. That's the problem. I'm telling you, it's not me. It's not me. I have had a year of aggravation, 1.5 years of aggravation over this. My daughter, my grandchildren. It is not me. And when I asked my friends, what do they think? They said, well, this person needs to get a description of you because of what you look like, or it's not me. I don't know who caused this. It wasn't me. I mean, I don't know.
Just like that day when I spoke to you, this is not going away. This is not going to go away. Because Tato told me everything. He wasn't being taken care of. He needed the 5K. Spend 5K. That's all we were asking for. Don't do that.
I don't know who Tato is. You don't understand.
We know you don't know who Tato is, but you know who Katie is. And you know the contacts Katie has. And she has, listen to me, let's stop fucking around. Okay? You know who Katie is. And you know that Katie has somebody that knows stuff. And they took care of a problem for you people. That's just the bottom line. The bottom line is you know who the fuck Katie is.
Look, I don't.
I'm not fucking around with it. You know who Katie is. You know that they took care of Katie and her people. Nobody's taking care of Tato. I know you don't know who Tato is.
No,
but we know who all of you are. And this ain't going away.
You know what?
So I can give you that, you want to spend the 5K?
Here's what you need to do. You need to go and.
Don't tell me what to do. I know what to do and I'm doing it.
You're looking for money, get $100,000 or whatever whatever the reward is. It isn't me. You have got the wrong person. That's why I said, ask your friends,
You're Donna Adelson.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Well, I know, we know who's involved in all this.
Yes, this is not making any sense. I mean, if you want the money, you should get it from the police. They can give you a whole lot more than you're asking me for money for someone. I can't do this. I have had too much stress and too much aggravation from this, and I don't know what you are talking about. I just don't know. I just don't know.
Good, I think you should talk to Katie, talk to people that are involved in this. You'll know, you know what's going on.
That's why I'm.
You can tell me, you can tell me all you fucking want, but I know you know. Because I know, because I heard, when I was locked up in Broward with my father's pastor, he told me everything. Everything. He told me everything.
Well, then
I just wanted to take care of him because fucking Katie was being taken care of with her fucking people.
I just think instead of asking me, you should get the money from the police. There's a lot of money out there, and I know, if you think you know who this is, then go ahead and do it, because I know it isn't me. I know it isn't me. And I can't take this kind of level of stress. I just can't. I know I didn't do anything.
You talk to people, you talk to the right people, you talk to people, you make this 5K come to me. That's all I need. Just do it and get it to me. Do it and get it to me. Bye.
They tried 5 different times. I'm sorry. Did you want a particular position? Yeah. Sorry, Judge. 5 times they tried. They tried to get her to pay the money. They tried to get her to admit that she was involved in this. And 5 times it failed because Mrs. Adelson tells them in this call, he keeps telling her, I know everything. I know everybody. I know what happened. And she tells him in this call, if you know, go to the police. Go to the police and get the reward. Why in the world, if she's guilty of committing these crimes, is she telling somebody who apparently knows everything to go to the police? If you're guilty, you're not sending anybody to the police. That's why they think they can get her with the 5K. But she didn't do it. And still consistently, Charlie is saying, nothing to worry about. Don't worry. You can hear the fear and worry in her voice on that call. Now, the state talks about coding and code words. And one of the things they say is that in one of the discussions with Charlie, Mrs. Adelson says, it's about the 2 of us. It couldn't be more clear what that means. Her son told her in September of 2014 that he got extorted. He has to pay this money. He has paid the money, and he's going to keep paying the money so he doesn't get killed, right? Now somebody has walked up to her on the street about the exact same subject, Mr. Markel being killed, and demanding $5,000 from her. So now he's brought her into this. It is the 2 of them. They're not knocking on his door. They're coming up to her on the street. They're sending her text messages. They're sending letters. They're calling. They won't stop. But she didn't do anything. If her son did, that's on him, not her. There's no evidence that if Charlie Adelson had not told her in September of 2014 what he told her, there's no evidence that she would know anything at all about what happened. That's her single source. and he brought it to her. Bring cash. That's one of the things she says. Bring cash. Without telling him what has happened on the street, she's telling him they want cash. That's not code. That's hint, hint, hint. You don't want to talk on the phone, but you won't stop asking me. So I'm going to hint to you what this is about. There's nothing code about that. The state is interpreting what they think these things mean. It's not their interpretation that matters. It's the evidence that's presented. The judge has read you the jury instructions. So I'm not going over all of them with you, but I want to say this. Murder in the first degree, the state has to prove that on July the 18th of 2014, Donna Adelson intended that Dan Markel be killed on that date. They have to prove that. There's no evidence of it. First degree murder is killing with premeditation, is killing after consciously deciding to do so. The decision must be present in the mind at the time of the killing. The premeditated intent to kill must be formed before the killing. They've got no evidence of her doing anything until after Mr. Markel is dead, when she writes the checks at the instruction of her son. Conspiracy. The state has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the intent of Donna Adelson was that the offense of first-degree murder would be committed on the date that he's killed, not after the date, before and up to the time that he shot and killed. They have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that she had that intent, and they have nothing. Solicitation to commit first-degree murder. They have to prove the following two elements beyond a reasonable doubt. I'm sorry, back to conspiracy. I forgot to say this. In order to carry out the intent, Donna Adelson had to agree, conspire, combine, or confederate with Charles Adelson or Catherine Magbanawa or other persons to cause the first-degree murder to be committed. Had to be before. No evidence of it. Solicitation. Prove the following two elements beyond reasonable doubt. Donna Adelson solicited Charles Adelson or Catherine Magbanawa or other persons to commit first-degree murder. During the solicitation, Donna Adelson commanded, encouraged, hired, or requested Charles Adelson or Catherine Magbanawa or other persons to engage in specific conduct which would constitute the commission of first-degree murder. What does solicit mean? It means to ask earnestly or to try to induce another person to engage in specific conduct. We know that the state has not presented evidence of Mrs. Adelson actually shooting and killing Dan Markel. They are asking that you find her to be a principal, that these other people did the killing, but she's a principal. And to prove that she's a principal, you have to show that she helped another person or persons commit the crime. In doing so, the state has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant intended the crime to occur and the defendant did some act or said something that was intended to and that did incite, cause, encourage, assist, or advise the other person or persons to actually commit the crime. For first-degree premeditated murder, the state must prove the defendant intended that the killing of Daniel Markel occur. Then you heard the instruction of a principal when active participant is hired by the defendant. If the defendant paid or promised to pay another person or persons to commit a crime, to commit a crime means she paid or promised to pay them before they killed him. There is no evidence of that at all. She never paid any of her money. All she did was write the checks that her son told her to write from his business account. says you have to show that she made or promised the payment.
This is Hidden Killer.
For the commission or promised to commit the crime or to help commit the crime. Linking her to Catherine McBanawa, Sigfredo Garcia, or Luis Rivera. Her link to Charlie Adelson is it's her son. They like to show those little arrows going back and forth like it's a train, I think they said. This isn't a train. This is somebody's life. Dan Markel's life. And now Donna Adelson's life. This isn't cute. This isn't powdered sugar. They have charged my client with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, solicitation of the people to kill, and their example is she's got powdered sugar all over her. No, she doesn't. They want you to believe it. That's their theory, but a theory doesn't prove a crime. They have to present evidence, and they haven't done that. Let's talk about Vietnam.
Really?
And the evidence that the state has introduced. Their exhibits 129 and 130 are the visas for Donna Adelson and Harvey Adelson. That one's Harvey's. Would you put that one? Now, there's something very important about these. It says their name and what they're going to do. You see that line? It's in, I guess that's Vietnamese, but underneath it, it's in English. And it says good for single/multiple entries. That it is a visa for tourism, not residence. It's a visa for tourism. They can come and go as they please. And that it is good until, where's that date? Here it is. It's good until, they put the dates backwards. So this is February the 5th of 1950. And the state says, oh, well, she was going to be gone past the date of the bar mitzvah. This visa allows them to come home. And if they want to go back, go back. Now, here's something really important. The state said that we're trying to tell you she was going on vacation. That's not true. Her prior attorney testified that before there was a conviction, she was very upset and said she wanted to kill herself if her son was convicted. And her husband was concerned about her doing that. So he wanted to get her away, to clear her head so that she wouldn't take such a drastic step. That's not a vacation. She's beyond herself. And then he gets convicted. And it's worse. And here's the thing. The state has been saying, since this woman was arrested, that she was going to flee this country to avoid prosecution. Flee. She's going away. She is not coming back. She's going somewhere where we could never get her and bring her back. They took almost nothing with them. They took a few credit cards, some cash, 2 pieces of luggage, and 1 carry-on.
You're arguing the wrong point.
147. When the search warrant was executed, after Mrs. Adelson was taken into custody, here's the luggage in plain view
like, keep going.
with the tags on it to go to one stop and then to Vietnam. And that's terrible. I'm sorry, I'm not criticizing.
Yeah, don't
You gotta
criticize.
hold it. In any event, there's the luggage.
Like the luggage
It's there
somehow
when the search warrant is
exonerates her.
executed. And the gentleman from Miami, what did he tell you about that when they executed the search warrant? They
Poor package.
didn't even look in the luggage to see what they had.
They
Not
open it up
even
and there's
look
like
in the
50
luggage.
dildos in there.
More important than that is they conducted, according to him, a thorough search. And this is State's Exhibit 160. And it's not real easy to see, and I might just have to pass it along to you because this is really blurry. You see that? You see that little light down there underneath the white shirt? See that? That's the size of Mrs. Adelson's safe, sitting there on that little shelf. They never even bothered to open it and look in it to see if there's any stapled cash. that little bitty safe on that shelf, is that where she allegedly got $138,000 in cash and washed it and stapled it after she got this phone call and took it up to Charlie? Never happened. Couldn't happen. Wasn't going to happen. And the investigator was so concerned about it, he never even touched it. But here's what the state presented. And just like so much other evidence that they presented in their case, this is a state witness. And on cross-examination, when asked, Sergeant Chris Corbett testified there was no proof that they were actually going to flee. When confronted with the 90-day visa, his testimony was, well, they were going to be gone a long time. That's not fleeing. That's not avoiding prosecution. She got arrested almost 2 years ago under that claim. And it took them almost 2 years to come in here and have a jury seated on these serious charges. And they finally admit there was no evidence that she was going to flee. Dan Markel was killed on July the 18th of 2014, and Mrs. Adelson, according to Agent Sanford, was a person of interest, but she was not arrested in 2014. They immediately started, according to him, gathering bank account information, emails, phone records of Donna Adelson. 2015, she was not arrested. In 2016, they conducted the bump operation against Donna Adelson, and we've just gone through that entire bump operation. And still, even though others were arrested, Donna Adelson was not arrested. She was not arrested in 2017. She was not arrested in 2018. She was not arrested in 2019 or 20 or 21 or 22. Not arrested. And what did Agent Sanford tell you? That they had listened in on this call or heard the recorded call where Mrs. Adelson thinks she's gotten cut off from her son, and she's talking about going away, getting airline tickets, and she wants to kill herself. She talks about it on there. She wants her and Harvey to do it together. And he wants to get her out of town and away from the media and clear her head. And Agent Sanford said, here's how invested he is. They think they might get a warrant for her on the day that she's arrested. They're not sure if they're going to try or not, but maybe they're going to. So he's up here in Tallahassee, and what does he do? He hops in his car and he starts driving towards Miami, not even knowing whether they're going to try to get a warrant. When Mrs. Adelson got her visa, there was not a warrant. She was doing nothing wrong. When she booked the ticket, or Rick Sugarin helped book the ticket, there was no warrant. She was not doing anything wrong. She got advice of her legal counsel that there was no warrant. There was no promise with Mrs. Cappleman, but her lawyer told her of the possibility if they got a warrant, she could self-surrender and turn herself in. She packed her bags, no warrant. She gets in her car to drive to the airport, no warrant. She gets to the airport, and sometime therein, they actually get a warrant, and she knows nothing about it. They go to where she is seated with her husband, waiting for the flight to board, sitting down amongst the crowd, and they watch her and wait, even though they've got a warrant. They don't arrest her. And he gives some, oh, well, you know, there was a crowd of people. There's no more crowd than when you enter the jetway and everybody's trying to get on the airplane. They waited until she presented her ticket.
Yeah, because she had to do that legally to arrest her.
So they could say that she was actually fleeing.
Yes, they couldn't just get her. Otherwise,
they knew exactly what was going on. They set her up so they could claim, oh, we captured the matriarch murderer. She was fleeing the country to flee prosecution.
You can't arrest a drunk driver when they're in a bar.
Got a lot of headlines.
They have to get behind the vehicle. That's what they were doing essentially.
But we're in trial almost 2 years later, and they know she wasn't fleeing this country.
She was getting on a plane
Yeah,
to Vietnam.
I'm
Of course
gonna
she
sum it
was
up
fleeing the country.
And this is from the state's evidence. TPD, FDLE, the FBI, and one agency in Miami-Dade are all involved. They have people listening to phone calls around the clock, 24 hours a day during this 2-month bump period. In their investigation, in their words, they have collected hundreds of thousands of emails, over 2,000 phone calls during that 2-month period, recorded text messages, bank records. They got experts analyzing all of this stuff. They got cell tower records, and I don't even understand all that stuff, but it supposedly can place you in places. They've been working on this case, according to Agent Sanford, right up until the time he was sitting on the stand, still investigating Donna Adelson. If you were going to have proof that Donna Adelson committed a crime, you should have had it beyond a reasonable doubt before you put handcuffs on her in the Miami International Airport. They still didn't even know that day if they were going to arrest her. In all the evidence they have collected, she can't help but run her mouth. Not a single email, no phone calls that are recorded, no written documents, no emails, not one single thing that said anything about wanting Danny Markel killed. The most aggressive thing they have are her foul words and wanting to aggravate him. This is not, could she possibly have done it? Could she probably have done it? Might she have done it? You have been sitting here hearing testimony for almost 2 weeks, and there's not a single piece of evidence that connects my client to that murder.
Really?
Charlie Adelson? Yeah.
Okay. She's not good at math.
She's the one who said she hated him.
She is not mathing well.
He's the one fighting with him in court.
They're even backing over
Donna
Wendy
Adelson,
again.
Nothing. Not a single piece of evidence. You have to find her not guilty because they have failed to do their job on all 3 counts. They cannot prove she had him killed. At the time that he was killed, she had paid anybody or asked anybody to do it. Please take this case seriously. Please go back and review the evidence. Please discuss what's been presented. Don't get talked into something that you don't agree with. The verdict has to be unanimous. If you don't reach an agreement, if you can't be unanimous, there's another procedure we go through. But please don't buy into what the state is about to do, telling me how wrong I am or telling you how wrong I am about everything and how they have this mountain of evidence, because they admitted it. Agent Sanford admitted it. There is no direct evidence linking Donna to anything. And all this circumstantial evidence isn't really circumstantial evidence. It's argument about what it could mean, what it possibly mean. Could it have been? That's not beyond a reasonable doubt.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda, baby.
Ms. Fulford, State, you may give your rebuttal.
Boom.
Oh, here we go. We're going right into
Woo, get your popcorn, Todd.
I'll get it.
We might need to crack open a couple of beers too.
Let's pause this just for a second and just talk about what we just saw there. I don't. And this is Jackie Fulford, the one time I'm going to call her by her name, talking about cell tower data after she just went through and said how inaccurate the information was about where phones are.
Thank you for that.
I don't understand all that stuff, but apparently it can put you at places. I think that's a pretty close quote to what she said. I tried to write it down. It's very, very close.
Yeah.
Right after she just tells us how all of the cell tower data doesn't mean anything, she tells us how she doesn't understand you, but apparently it can put you at places.
Well, she's cherry picking. She's, this is like a buffet for her. She's just picking out what she needs.
Is it cherry picking or delusion?
Well,
and let's talk about circumstantial evidence just for a quick second before we get to the finisher round of all of this with Jackie or with Georgia. Circumstantial evidence. You get this term thrown around in a lot of trials, especially in closing arguments. It's circumstantial. It's circumstantial. Here's the best explanation you can ever make about circumstantial evidence. It's supposed to snow tonight. It's in the forecast. Okay, great. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to shut my shades. I'm not going to look out the window. You get up in the morning and there's snow on the ground. Okay. Did you see the snow actually falling? No, you were asleep. You heard it was going to snow. You saw the radar prior. It was coming in, but you didn't see it actually falling from the sky. So yes, is there a possibility that a snow cone truck exploded nearby and then covered your home? Is it possible a rogue ski attendant took one of the snowmakers and decided that they were just going to blanket your house in snow that day? Possible? Probable? No.
It's happened to me on occasion.
Circumstantial? That's what circumstantial evidence is. It's very strong. It just means you're connecting dots. You're using the ingenuity that you have as a human being to reason and think and put together dots. Now, could there be those odd chances? Yes. Is it a reasonable doubt that a snow cone truck exploded in front of your house? No, that is not reasonable. Could it be a possible doubt? Sure. It's not reasonable. Is it beyond a reasonable doubt? Yeah, it is, because a snow cone truck didn't blow up in front of your house. There's no records of snow cone trucks blowing up. There's nothing to point out unless you can find a snow cone truck that blew up in front of your house. That's pretty damning evidence. So that's what I got to say going into this. Stacey, you got anything else, Todd?
I think you summed it up. I'm excited for this part.
Me too.
Finish her.
Lego.
Round 3. Fight.
Ding. I do like her suit. Georgia. It's powerful.
She's just waiting till the dunce gets off the floor.
You done there, buddy?
A little annoyed.
You done, Skippy? Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye. Well, that's the attorney. He's a guy. He's Dennis' assistant.
Yeah, he's not the audio-visual guy. But he's acting like one.
Y'all tired of hearing lawyers talk yet? Down for another hour or two?
Oh, God.
I think I've got 7 minutes. He hasn't started the timer yet.
She's got 7 minutes. They're all giving 2 hours total.
It does not matter what Miss Fulford thinks, if she's right, if she's wrong, if I'm right, if I'm wrong. What the lawyers say is not evidence. You have the evidence before you. They say it means one thing. I say it means something else. Only you guys decide, right? I think outside your house means outside your house. But apparently outside your house means something else. I think a very contentious divorce means a very contentious divorce. They think it means an amicable divorce. You guys decide, right? Look at the evidence and you guys decide. Is everything not what it seems and actually something else? You guys decide. A TV repair appointment is not an alibi because she could have changed it to earlier, but she didn't change it to earlier. That's where she was when he was getting killed. That's an alibi. This TV, that doesn't mean, that's not code. That's a hint. A hint for what? It's code. What does it involve? The two of us. Oh, well, that actually means it doesn't involve the two of us because we're being extorted. We're victims. It doesn't involve us. So what does it involve? The two of us actually means it does not involve the two of us. That's what we've heard. A one-way non-extradition ticket to Vietnam? It's not fleeing. It's a setup. How did I set her up? I didn't make her do that. I didn't get her a fast-track visa. I didn't get her a one-way ticket. She did that. She made those choices. Wendy didn't bother to tell her mom she was ready to give up on the relocation. Yes, she did. Look in the emails. She was giving up and Donna wasn't having it. That's when she gets the totally unhinged email from her mother suggesting, you're not going to give up. You want to move on with a sense of peace? Hell no, we're going to fight this guy. We're going to dress your kids up as Nazis. That's what happened when when Wendy suggested giving up. Never, never, never give up, right? This murder charge is not based on the fact that she said some bad words. I mean, I'd be facing murder just in this courtroom. Obviously, people. That is not what this case is about. You've got to look at all the evidence. I mean, it is death by 1,000 cuts. It is powdered sugar. You've got to look at the whole thing and make a decision. And I'm sorry that there's not a smoking gun, but she was too smart for that. She thought about it. She planned it. She made sure we could never get her, right? She took precautions, but she did make mistakes. And that's what all those exhibits are. Mistakes. My spin and the spin I'm putting on all the evidence, that's not, it doesn't matter what my spin is. It's your spin. You look at the evidence, you decide. I tell you what I think it shows. They tell you what they think it shows. What's the other side? And what do they think it shows? They don't have to prove anything. I have to prove the case. Yes. But what are they saying? Wendy. Oh no. Charlie, definitely. Wendy, maybe. Not Donna. But also, not Charlie. We were getting extorted. Not Charlie. I mean, you can't have it both ways, right? It's like hard to get your head around it, but we can't be getting extorted by the killers who killed Dan Markel on their own. And also, Charlie's pretty guilty and Wendy looks a little guilty too. It's got it like, there's no lane that's been picked. And they don't have to prove anything, but they're throwing all that out, right? And it's like, you were getting extorted, or Charlie and Wendy did it behind your back and they don't tell mom what they're doing. Can't charge Donna because Charlie already went down for this. No, that's not true. Everyone that's responsible for this murder should be held accountable for their role, not just Charlie, not just the two killers that came here and shot him. Everyone that played a part in it should be held accountable. They said some things in their closing that doesn't comport with my recollection of the evidence. For example, Corbett said that the defendant did not send the evite. My recollection is the complete opposite. You guys took notes, you have remembrances, you guys rely on your own memory. I don't want to go through every single thing, but there were a few of those. The only complaint from a 3 and 4-year-old was, Grandma says you're stupid. Oh, that's dumb. Well, no, I remember that the kid also said, Grandma hates you. Rob has an axe to grind. Mary Hull said that the Adelson Institute was Charlie's until 2022. Not my recollection, but hopefully you remember that it changed hands in 2015. No SunPass records. Do you need SunPass records to know that Donna Adelson was outside Charlie's house on the night of the murder? We didn't know that. Catherine Nibanoa told us when I got to Charlie's, he told me his parents had just come, right? And brought the money. But when we looked in the records, there's a text outside your house corroborating what she said. That's important. She was outside his house. Oh, well, she had the garage code. Why didn't she go in? I don't know if she went in. Maybe she did. She told him, I'm outside your house. He said 10 minutes. It's going to be there in 10 minutes. Maybe she did go in. I don't know. But she was there. That I do know. I don't know why she's denying that. Grandma motion. We disagree with what the words say. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I say the words say, I don't want the kids around grandma because she's disparaging me. Somebody needs to be there to monitor. They say, no, that's not what it means. It means something else. Charlie's extortion story. She wrote the checks because she had to save her son's life. Well, right. So if that's the case, we're picking lane 2 here, down below. And that's where all that evidence comes up about that pushes back on that. Like, that couldn't happen. They're not going to be spitballing the drug dealer defense years after they've been extorted. Like, that didn't happen. That was a lie, right? That Charlie came up with in his testimony, and that she then kind of got stuck with after saying all the truth is out, truth is out, truth is out. Plus, she's got to come up with something for writing those checks. She paid for the murder.
Oh, sidebar.
Uh-oh. Did she just say, can you give me 5 more? Is that what she said?
I couldn't make it
I
out.
couldn't make it out either.
But that's there's a sidebar now. I don't know what they're objecting to. She paid for the murder, as you were saying, Stacy, earlier. What about the checks? Because she's going, well, the money's Charlie. Donna wrote 44 checks and signed them.
It reminds me of the excuse of, the battered woman with the 2 black eyes saying, "Oh, I fell down the stairs."
Todd, pause it for a second, really quick.
Boom.
Look at this. Look at this shit show. This, I think one of them. I mean, if you're watching this, like if you're listening to this on the podcast platform, God bless you. But this is such a visual show today. You need to be checking this out on YouTube and just search "Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi" to do that. But oh my God, what the hell is that woman wearing behind the Jeff Dunham puppet named
In
Harvey
Florida,
Adelson?
no less. I mean, it looks like it's a cape. It's like a shawl. It's almost like it's backwards.
She's a little cold in the courtroom. That's what that is. It's like a blanket or something.
It's so chilly. She's one of those. She's the angry boomer mom that, I always just, it's so chilly in here. Can you turn the heat up? It's just so chilly. Everybody else is like dying and they're just like, thank God it's air. I'm going to turn the heat up because I'm uncomfortable. Is that okay? I just did it. I just didn't tell anybody I was going to do it, but I did it. I'm speaking from experience.
They are back, just so you know.
Okay, let's continue. But look at that. I mean, yeah.
I'm going to get one for Christmas from you.
It looks like she's wearing a Snuggie.
It'll have the Hidden Killers logo on it, though, Stacy.
Ooh,
Stanford
merch
City
idea
never
for
made
Christmas.
A mistake. Not my recollection. What's the pushback on extortion? Her behavior on the wire. She doesn't say, "Oh my gosh, it's happening again." She doesn't say anything about the prior extortion. If the prior extortion had occurred, she would immediately tell him it's happening again, or some reference to the fact that this is something that's been ongoing. She doesn't do that. Instead, she talks in code. It's a TV. What the heck? Why are you talking in code? Her Googling extortion versus blackmail 7 days before Charlie's trial. That wouldn't happen if the extortion was real. She wasn't extorted. Charlie didn't tell her there was an extortion because there never was an extortion. She was paying for a murder. She knew it was going to be a murder. She's the one that wanted it done. Her discussion of Charlie's lawyers meeting with Garcia's lawyers. What? If she was being extorted by Garcia and Charlie was being extorted and his life being threatened by Garcia, their lawyers aren't going to be meeting up. Look at those text messages. She said, "Bring cash." They say, "Oh, that's not code." She said, "Bring cash." She literally said, "Bring cash for dinner" on that call. It's not a hint. It's a code word. They say the bump failed. I say the bump succeeded. She said it involved the two of us. That was before we got made, before that Matt Surrey operation where they literally see the camera in the bag and know the camera's in the bag. Yeah, she called and put on a great show when she called the undercover. But what did she say in the first call? the second call and the third call before we got made, before she knew it was law enforcement. She said it involves the two of us, both of us. To these, okay, I want to hit one more thing. Don't call time on me. 2 years after the murder, we've got two emails, 64T and 64I. The defense told you in opening that this defendant cares about others more than she cares about herself. The problem is that she decides what other people need, what's necessary for other people in their lives, and she is willing to justify whatever ends she thinks are needed, right? Any means to get to those ends are justified in her mind. The problem is she doesn't care about the collateral damage to get to her ends. The evidence has shown that this defendant, I think, did believe that Wendy and those boys were better off in South Florida. She thought that's what they needed. They would be better off with her. And she was angry that that couldn't happen. Dan Markel is the thing standing in the way. What was the cost of that to not only Dan Markel, but to those little boys? Those little boys lost their father. Look what she says in 64T. Children are 2 and 3. Children do not even have a memory of life before age 5 or 6.
Jesus Christ.
Look what she says in 64II when Wendy is concerned. This is 2 years after the murder. Her child is having trouble at school, crying because he misses his father. And this woman, this nice grandmother, innocent woman, says, quote, "I still do not believe that Ben is sad about his father." Quote, quotations on the sad. 64II. "I still do not believe that Ben is sad about his father. I spend a minimum of 25 hours a week with him, and oftentimes more than that, including weekend times and sleepover days, and have never experienced a time when he was sad. I think it's just another phase of the many, many phases that kids go through. The problem is they have a highly intelligent and sensitive mom. She doesn't believe that this kid is sad because she can't take accountability for her own actions and the catastrophic consequences that this had on everyone's life in her family. Not just her son, not just her daughter, not just Rob, not just Dan Markel, but those boys who lost their father. It wasn't better for them to be in South Florida. It was better for them to have their father. You must not base your verdict on the feelings of sympathy, prejudice, bias. Your verdict must be based on the evidence and the law. Yes, she's a grandmother. Most murderers don't look like that. But the evidence has revealed what she is. Please don't let her appearance influence your verdict in any way. It involves the two of us. What about the script? They didn't even talk about the script. She wrote a script for a witness that was perjured testimony based on a lie, an extortion lie that's been proven in court to you to be false. This defendant tried to erase Dan Markel, thinking there would be no harm to those little boys. They don't have a memory of their father. They feel the absence of their father. This defendant decided they didn't need their dad. She doesn't get to decide that. She wanted it done. She brought the money. She stroked the check. She didn't have to do that. Charlie was a signatory, had signing power on that account. He could have written the checks. She wrote the checks. Why? Because she was neck deep in this thing. She wrote the checks. She said it involved the two of us. She wrote that script. May you have the strength and the common sense to see this evidence for what it is. It's only one thing. There's only one truth. It can't all be right. It's only one truth. Render a verdict that does justice. Find her guilty. Thank you.
That got me a little. That got me a little emotional.
Did it?
Yeah.
Need a tissue?
Georgia Cappleman wins.
Fatality. The foreperson should see to it that your discussions are carried on in an organized way and that everyone has a fair chance to be heard. It is also the foreperson's job to sign and date the verdict form.
All right,
when all of you have agreed on a
let's
verdict.
dump out of the audio of this now. He's going to go over the jury instructions now, which, if you care to watch, it will exist. We'll have all the unedited testimony up there for you shortly. But my God, she came in with some stuff that we hadn't heard before at the very end. And I thought
saving those nuggets.
That was genius. I was pissed with that last little bit. Children do not even have memory before 5. So this is the cunt sitting there and
did you just say that?
I did, because she is.
Okay.
And reasoning out to herself and others around her that these children will have they don't have any memory before 5. So if I killed their father before then, they don't know anything. Or if he died before then, there's no memory. And I do not believe that Ben is sad about his father. Really, bitch? Really? So you're telling me you have this little kid and you have a parent that exited their life at a very young age.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be sad about it. I mean, and he exited in a way that dad had no choice. Dad was taken out. I've seen this on a personal level where the parent chose to exit.
Right.
And let me fucking tell you, it has an impact.
Yep.
It has a fucking impact. You ignorant cunt. I don't use that word lightly, and I never really use that word, but I think it's appropriate in this moment because I don't know any other way to describe this monster. I mean, it shows just how much she's trying to justify this stuff to her mind as she sits there. You can just see her seething and the wheels turning in her mind, trying to justify all the shit she's being called out on. And it's just, well, I did it for that. I did it for this. This reason is that. This reason is this. And they don't understand. It's ultimately, they don't get me. They don't understand me. And the fact that she's the age she is now, and this is how, just ingrained this shit is into her, it's never going to change. I mean, she's going to go to her grave thinking she's in the right. You're never going to see her when she's found guilty, you're not going to see a moment in sentencing where she's going to apologize. If anything, you're going to see some sort of grandiose narcissistic statement of how she did this all for her kids. And she'll probably throw them under the bus even more. And Wendy will be watching it from a cell, because by that time I'm guessing she's not going to be free. But just the disturbing nature of her narcissism on display. This is what this is about, kids. I mean, if you don't get it, this is the perfect lesson in unhealthy narcissistic parenting and the damage that it can do. And I know I overuse that word all the frickin' time on this show, but all roads lead back to it. With the folks that we talk about, so many, this is the reason.
They do. And a lot of, I was going to say, a lot of our clients, if you will, they are narcissists. That's how they get on this show.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's a prerequisite. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is what I mean, most people who aren't of that pathway don't end up killing people. Maybe
if you have healthy brains don't do this.
No, and believe me, I've had reason in the last 2 months that I could have offed somebody and I didn't. Okay.
It's good.
Never crossed my mind. But that is the difference between a narcissist and a normal person who goes, oh, some really bad shit just happened to me. Okay, I'm going to figure out my life and move on.
No, yeah. I mean, they're trying to justify all these horrible things Donna was saying. At least, Tom Petty was arguing that Donna was saying, like, she had carte blanche to say whatever she wanted.
Yeah.
Because Wendy didn't basically include her enough in her divorce proceedings, didn't clue her in enough on what she wanted to do. It couldn't be that maybe Wendy wants some separation from mom, that maybe mom shouldn't be in the courtroom because mom, by the own admission of the attorney, can't keep her yapper shut. So she said, you're just going to be more of a hindrance to me in my life in this situation. So I got to keep you at arm's length. No, it's hate. It's she doesn't love mom, but that's how mom's going to spin this as this child that's not grateful for all the things that she's done for her, that it's that. And we're going to take it out in our closing arguments with your doppelganger, Tom Petty. I mean, what is going? Oh my God, this is just a train wreck.
Sad that Wendy couldn't divorce her mom. She could divorce her husband, but not her mom.
I think Rob did.
Rob absolutely did. And believe me, he's got scars from it. That man is damaged from that family.
But he's a better person for it. He's surviving. He's living a life. He's paving his own road. And his kids are probably not going to repeat the path of Donna.
Right? It's a beautiful way to break the cycle. And that's what's really important in healing is break the fucking cycle. And that's exactly what he did. Wendy, not so much.
No, Wendy chose the easier road. And this is why so much of this stuff happens is because the easy road is stick with it. It is what it is. It's how my family is. It's just who they are.
Gotta deal with
you
it.
only get one set of parents. You only get one mom. You only get one dad.
Still your mom.
Mentally abused the shit out of me throughout my whole life. Now they killed this and they did all this other shit, but it's just, but you get, it's the lobster in the pot. You don't realize how bad it is until somebody on the outside says, that's your family? Really? That's your family? And I think Wendy is still, sitting in, somewhat lukewarm water going, I kind of like this hot tub. This feels, I don't know if I want to get out to the cold.
I don't know if she is. I at this point, if she doesn't realize what the hell's going on.
Well, now she does.
We had one of our viewers had a great comment earlier about a lot of them probably overlooked some of the bullshit because maybe somewhere down the road, there was some money involved and an inheritance or something like that. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, money always does talk. And if you're in a family where you may end up with something at the end, you appease mom and dad a little bit.
Yeah, you hold it. You hold the toe the line long enough. If that's worth it to you,
Right.
Sometimes the money just isn't worth it.
Not in this case.
No. I mean, you're by the time you get the money, your life is so destroyed and ruined, and you are so damaged yourself. Even if you want to get a grip on life and live a healthy life, you already got the scars that are so damning that they're just not going to go away, no matter how much therapy you get, no matter how much you mask it with this or that. I mean, this is so damaging. It's never going to go away. I feel like the amount of stuff that they threw out there about Wendy today and Harvey.
It's coming.
They laid them out. They took the truck and they went forward.
Yeah.
And they reversed.
They did.
And then they went forward again. And then they moved the bodies a little bit more to make sure that the head was going to get crushed by the 18 wheels. And then the 18 wheels went over that again.
Yeah.
And then Donna said, hang on a second. Let's get him from this angle too. And she backs the semi up and just, Jackie, hit the gas. And I'd be booking that flight right now, Wendy. You may want to go private because you might get arrested pretty quick at a commercial airport. I don't know. Yeah. Cuba, is that not extradition?
Yeah.
Where could she get like a domestic flight that's like that can get somewhere? Cuba, maybe, where you don't have a non-extradition treaty. But oh my God, is there? Okay. I mean, we'll wrap this up here. We've been going on for almost 5.5 hours, and thank you guys. I mean, obviously, welcome to the program, everyone, that we do this live, and welcome you guys to when this is life when we have a closing case like this, and it's kind of fun. It's like doing the Christmas program in hell.
What program is this?
You're excited. It's a big day. We're going to be spending a lot of time on the air. We gotta, but my God, this is. Any chance did Jackie make any sort of dent in that jury that you're going to have one juror on that end going, I don't know. I mean, this is a trial. It's taking place in Florida with people who wear those maroon Snuggie outfits that they got at Dayton's in 1987 on the sale, and they got some of those Frangelico chocolates too that they only
Oh my
sold at
gosh.
Dayton's as
You
well.
and I'll have to talk off air about your second Dayton's reference here. Anybody who's listening and watching from the Midwest is like, wait a minute, Dayton's? Whoa, dude.
It's all was original. Yeah, it was, and Target was Dayton's in the basement. But
Correct.
anyway,
So realistically, how soon do you think we'll hear something? I mean, are you thinking maybe tomorrow morning, midday? What do you think?
I don't know what they're doing right now. If they're going to give them time today,
It's
they may.
4:30 in Florida right now.
Right.
So, I mean,
And they may say, because sometimes when it goes to a jury, they're like, they'll go beyond the workday.
True.
They may give him an hour or two just to see, you got something? And if after like an hour or two, they're like, no, I mean, they may go back to that jury room and kind of get a feel. In theory, it's not a crazy thought. They might go back there for about an hour. And if you got something, they may just come right back. If they don't, then, and it's like, well, we need to talk this through, then they'll probably say, all right, let's call it a night and go home. My money's on probably tomorrow. But we'll have to find out here shortly what the judge decides, because I think that's being decided right as we're speaking, what the plan is going to be. So how about hours? Let's not pick today or tomorrow. Let's pick how many hours will it take of deliberation to come back?
I'm going 3.
Todd?
I'm going to go a little higher than that. I'm going to say 5. Because you might have a couple of people that go, well, what about this, though? And blah, blah, blah. But I don't think it's going to be all frickin' day tomorrow. I just don't.
No, I don't either. I'd like to say like $1, Bob, but how
about 301? Just to screw me.
Just to screw you. It's between 3 and 5. Because I was thinking 5, but I kind of feel like it's going to be between 3 and 5. I'm going to go 301.
And then the bell rings, ding, 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 ding. You're right on. You win the $100 in Bob's pocket.
I'm going to go between both of you, and I'm going to say that it's somewhere between 3 and 5 hours.
All right.
And really only because they really want to get the Subway sandwiches. They already put the order in.
Yeah.
They've checked the box for toasted. They're excited. I mean, come on. Who
wouldn't be?
Who wouldn't be at this point? So they're going to go enjoy those subs and damn Donna to death or to prison for the rest of her natural existence.
Yeah, that's not very long, I'm guessing.
I can't imagine it will.
God, I hope it is, though.
I do
hope
too.
It is.
You know, that's the interesting thing about narcissists and thing. There is a thing called narcissistic collapse.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's rare, but I would say Donna's probably in a position where that may hit. Narcissists don't typically end it themselves. They don't. They tend to keep going. They tend to. I mean, yeah.
That's all they know.
That's all they know, and they have too high of an opinion of themselves. Ultimately, no matter what they're going to tell the world out there. I mean, they oftentimes will. I won't say fake, but they'll feign some sort of thing that they're going to do to themselves. They're going to harm themselves. They're going to hurt themselves. And not that you should always take that seriously if someone says that, but that's the problem with them. They'll say it a lot to the point where you don't take it seriously because it gets them attention. It gets them help. The first thing she's probably going to do is she's going to be ill tomorrow.
Yep.
And that's what it's, because you go down to like, I got nothing, I'm sick. Not that it's going to stop a jury from rendering a verdict, but I've seen verdicts rendered where the client isn't in the courtroom.
Yeah,
they're sick, they're too ill, and then they just render it. I mean, there was one. What was it? Was it Daybell?
Yeah,
no,
Daybell.
Was it Chad? Might have been Chad. I don't know that Chad was in the courtroom. There was someone recently in the last year or two that was like a big deal, and they didn't come to court. I don't know. I think it was Chad was there. I think it was the mom that had the son that was autistic, and there was a murder involved. Like they killed the son. They killed the autistic son.
Yeah. Oh God.
And the other kid that clearly also had some autism going on. And I felt bad for that kid because he was just reeled in by mom and had no clue what the hell was going on. And they found him guilty of the murder too. But I think she didn't show up. And she was recently in court she's appealing it, I believe. Was that in Wisconsin? That might have been a Wisconsin case. I don't remember. I could be wrong.
You can fuck all the way off. I hope we never cover that case again.
Yeah, that was a really messed up one.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't see any way where this is not going to come out guilty for Donna. I'd be shocked, but again, who knows? There is no such thing as a slam dunk case. There really is not. You could get, like I said, one of those Snuggie wearers on that jury that just totally relates to Donna, that has done the same shit to their own family their whole life and has gotten away with it. Not necessarily to murder, but they're sitting there going, yeah, well, that's just like me. She's disrespected. Her kids are disrespecting her.
Right.
They're adults. They're trying to, but it's not disrespect. They're just living a life. They're being their own human beings. But to that person, that's outrageous. That's disrespect. To a narcissist, that's like the ultimate disrespect thing. And I noticed Jackie was bringing up that term quite a bit today too.
Mm-hmm. Quite a bit.
Outrageous, and disrespectful. Really? Is it? So there you go. We'll keep watching this. As soon as we are aware that there is a verdict coming in, we will jump back on the air and we will bring that to you live as it happens, providing we can get to the studio in time. But we will certainly, let you know as soon as it happens and get your reactions as well. Like I said, I'm guessing it's not going to happen tonight, tomorrow morning. You can join us at 10 a.m. Central. They may have a verdict by then. I don't know. And we'll be discussing the case. Eric Faddis also going to be joining us, attorney, defense attorney and former prosecutor, to kind of give us both sides of the aisle on his assessment of how everything went down. So we got a lot coming to you in the next 24 hours of breaking down this case. All right. Anybody else got anything?
No, I need to go pop some more popcorn though. It's going to be necessary.
Yeah, it's going to be time. I need a beverage. Yeah, I do. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. If you're watching us live right now, thank you. Press subscribe wherever you're watching us, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, whatever, and subscribe to the podcast. Wherever you get podcasts, just search Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi. You'll find us there. And on YouTube, Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi as well. And that's, of course, where you can comment on YouTube. All right. For Todd, for Stacy, I'm Tony Bruschi. We will talk again real soon.
Want more on this case and others? Then press subscribe now and don't miss a moment of true crime coverage from Tony Bruschi and the Hidden Killers podcast.